It's Monday, August 24th.
I think the last thing we need right now, as our economy is getting back on its feet, is a trade war with Canada.
Canada fires back as a trade war with the U.S. escalates. There's no shortage of reaction to the failed deal, retaliatory tariffs, and what it all means for businesses on both sides of the border.
They were uneconomic, unfair, and undermine the net benefits for Canada.
Standing firm, Prime Minister Mark Carney announces dollar-for-dollar tariffs, saying the U.S. asked for too much and offered too little.
Push back to the 26 now in a 1st and 20. Oh,
Riders turning the ball over several times yesterday. We've got highlights from their matchup against the BC Lions. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Good morning. Happy Monday.
Unless you're a Rider fan, you're waking up a little bit upset after what happened yesterday, but the weather was beautiful.
The weather was. We did get a little bit of rain, but hey, I like a little bit of drizzle. And if you like the rain, you're going to like waking up in central Saskatchewan today. Right now, we're projecting Saskatoon to be getting about 40 millimeters by the end of the day.
That makes sense. My aunt is in Outlook, and every time she comes to the province, rain, rain, rain. It's 6:01. Let's get to news. We'll blame Deb on this one. In Canada, a number of businesses, industries, and workers are waiting to feel the full impact of the U.S. president's new 50% tariffs.
I would have to let staff go if it came up to that.
It's, it's worrying.
What we need to see from government right now is to shore up support for workers. That should mean extending employment insurance and increasing employment insurance.
Companies will soon be looking at either increasing prices or laying off workers as they try to manage the increased costs. According to one analysis, Canada could lose nearly 90,000 jobs because of the new tariffs. The provinces that could be hardest hit are Quebec, Ontario, and BC. The electronics sector is set to take the biggest hit, followed by plastics and furniture.
Proposed new terms that were uneconomic, unfair, and undermine the net benefits for Canada, and called into question the reliability of any deal. In short, they asked too much and they offered too little.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has now promised dollar-for-dollar retaliatory tariffs, but a list of goods has yet to be released. Prime Minister Carney says the tariffs will be imposed on September 8th. Some suggest that timeline creates a window of opportunity for a possible return to negotiations. The U.S. president spent part of his Sunday at the Washington Grand Prix. He weighed in on the failed trade talks on social media, writing, quote, "Canada wants the benefits of being a state without being one." The Trump administration also says Canada would be foolish to think it could win a trade war with the U.S., predicting a devastating impact on our country. People are soaking in the last couple of weeks of summer and the price of gas, because after Labor Day, the price at the pump will rise again.
This is like 130.
In April, the federal government temporarily suspended the excise tax on gas. The gas tax break is set to end Labor Day weekend. September 7th is the final day to take advantage of the lower prices at the pumps, but the Canadian Taxpayers Federation is calling on Ottawa to make those cuts permanent. According to Statistics Canada, gas prices have gone up nearly 26% since last summer. The Federation said restoring 10 cents a litre on gas and 4 cents on diesel would mean an average of an extra $6 to fill up in a sedan, $7 in a minivan, and $10 for a truck. Thousands gathered at Fort Carlton yesterday to commemorate 150 years since Treaty 6 was signed. Chiefs and dignitaries led the grand entry, recognizing the historic milestone. On August 23, 1876, Indigenous leaders and the Crown signed Treaty 6, setting our agreements and obligations for living together on the land. To honor 150 years, a 50-foot steel teepee monument also installed at site. Beardy's and Okamasa's Cree Nation leading the project, with the province contributing $140,000. The monument is intended to stand as a lasting reminder of the treaty as Premier Scott Moe renewed the province's commitments to obligations.
Very important to have a monument. It's something that's going to be there for a long time for our future generations to see.
We should talk and we should move forward together. We won't always agree. However, if we continue to talk and we can set our differences aside, we can truly build something that's better for tomorrow, for our children, for the next generation.
Governor General Louise Arbour, who represents the Crown, also spoke about the importance of upholding the promises made. Ukraine is marking the 35th anniversary of its independence. Regina among the communities to hold an event over the weekend to mark the occasion. The outdoor program featured traditional dance and cultural displays. However, the celebrations were overshadowed by Ukraine's ongoing fight against Russian aggression.
Being able to share and promote Ukrainian culture has been so important, and celebrating events such like this, the 35th year of independence, when they are fighting for it right now, it couldn't be more important.
About 9,000 Ukrainians have arrived in Saskatchewan since the start of that war in February of 2022. A Saskatoon festival celebrated Asian culture, food and heritage this weekend. The three-day Rhythm and Roots Asian Festival featured live performances, food and market vendors and community partners as well. The free event ran Thursday to Saturday at Kicking Horse Saloon at Prairieland Park. Now in its second year, the festival is hosted by the Filipino-Canadian Association of Saskatchewan with the goal of bringing together the energy of the Asian night markets in Saskatoon.
The whole ethos behind Rhythm and Roots is to bring the culture, the food, dance, everything to do with Asian culture and exhibit it here today.
Rhythm and Roots is a great event for all of us Canadians who are living here in Saskatoon.
Asian heritage, I think sometimes we're such a small community that we're overlooked in Saskatoon, but we are here. We just want to spread our culture with everyone in Saskatoon.
Organizers say they're hoping to welcome upwards of 10,000 people to the event this year. A dragon boat paddling event continues to thrive in Regina as it celebrated its 35th festival. The Dragon Boat Festival at Wascana Park, taking part on the waters of the mighty Wascana, competing in races varying from 200 to 2,000 meters. Organized by the club's president, Amber Joy, the volunteer-run event aims to bring together a better understanding and appreciation of Asian culture and the heritage within the community.
Dragon boating is, in this case, large boats, which are 20 paddlers, a drum and a stern, and a lot of synchronicity has to be happening, a lot of training to get that boat moving properly. Racing is a matter of lots of practice, lots of technique.
The organization encourages you to give it a try and keep that group's existence afloat. It's an adventure of a lifetime, or 8 months if we're being technical.
In that sense, we're really like astronauts that have been trained to collect data and do science for many other groups.
That's Canadian researcher Maxime Giffroy. He's a scientist with the Marine Institute in St. John's. He and 11 other teammates are aboard the Terra Polar Station. They've set sail and are headed toward the Central Arctic Ocean. The team will sail their vessel and research station into the ice floes and drift with Arctic currents for 8 months. Geoffroy and his team said they are sailing with 200 sailing and job protocols that they have to handle. They'll have to complete to learn more about the Arctic Ocean and its ice. The Regina Thunder continue to roll, winning their home opener easily. The Thunder had 597 yards of total offense, including 206 on the ground from running back Peter Borsch. On the 17 carries that he had, that's a pretty good statistical line. The Thunder beat the Winnipeg Rifles 60-35.
I feel good about it. It looks good, and I'm glad everybody came to cheer us on. 1 week at a time, and just win it, let's go.
The Thunder will take on Edmonton next Sunday. The Saskatoon Hilltops, by the way, picked up a 36-26 win over the Calgary Colts. The Saskatchewan Roughriders were their own worst enemy yesterday.
Push back to the 26 now and a 1st and 20.
Trevor Harris had a pair of interceptions, a fumble, and a whole lot of penalties in Sunday's game against the BC Lions. It was the Lions' fourth straight win. Lions QB Nathan Rourke went 22 for 28, 355 yards and a pair of majors. The Lions beat the Riders 30-16.
Honestly, I think our defense played incredible today. I think that was their win. I mean, that's one of the greatest QBs in our league, and if not the best. And for them to play the way they did against him, hats off to them. Hats off to the coaches for their plan. Offensively, that wasn't our best. We got to keep finding ways to get better. Complement our defense. Complement our special teams. It's a good team win, and a win is a win, especially against a team like the Riders. But we got to find ways to be better.
There you go. The Riders will host the Toronto Argonauts this coming weekend. Hopefully get back in the win column. Kayleen Sawatsky, you're in the Weather Center. What's going on across Saskatchewan this morning?
We actually have a lot to talk about today, from high winds to a lot of rain on the way. So we're going to get into all of that. This morning view, though, is brought to you by Stars Lottery, your ticket fund's life-saving care across Saskatchewan. Now, temperatures this morning aren't so bad. The hot spot we're seeing right now is up in South End. That's actually sitting at 18 degrees already. Our cold spots, it's really close. It comes down to decimal points between Val-Marie and East End. But when we say you are the cold spot, don't get too discouraged. You're sitting at still 11 degrees. So we are in double digits all across the province to start the day. 14 degrees to wake you up in Saskatoon. Winds coming in at 17 kilometers per hour. We are seeing some cloud cover to start the day. The rain is on the way, though. Here's a look at that radar and satellite. So we actually could see quite a bit of thunderstorm activity over in Alberta late yesterday and into those overnight hours. That, of course, has moved its way into Saskatchewan. Some of the thunderstorm activity we were seeing yesterday as well down through the southeast corner has moved into Manitoba, so a risk of some severe weather over there today as well. Where we're looking forward to seeing that rain today is mostly, not all, but mostly through central Saskatchewan, with parts of this system up north as well. More of that red and yellow and orange color moving through into the afternoon and evening hours. This is at about 7 p.m. what you're looking at. So it's really rotating around Prince Albert, Saskatoon, and then down through Yorkton as well. Into Tuesday, this is at about 6:30 a.m. Still seeing some of that system right along the eastern border there with Manitoba. Still seeing some of that thunderstorm activity over there as well into Tuesday afternoon. It's in the afternoon that we start to see things really clearing up into the later part of the day, though, for us tomorrow. But again, today is going to be quite a bit of rainfall. And keeping in mind that with our time here together this morning in the next 3 hours, these numbers can and likely will be fluctuating. But right now we're reading the total rainfall expected in Saskatoon to be at about 40 millimeters by 12:30 a.m. 2 millimeters for Yorkton. Regina could be seeing about 2 millimeters as well. Prince Albert at 24 millimeters and the Battlefords at 2 millimeters. Now, with all that rain on the way, we are seeing some lower temperatures through central Saskatchewan as well. The best place to be waking up in Saskatchewan today is down through that far southeast corner. 27 degrees expected in Estevan with mainly sunny skies. Down through the southwest corner, not as much rain expected, but we are going to be seeing some higher wind gusts today, likely up to about 60 to 65 kilometers per hour. Saskatoon, you're kind of seeing both of that. High winds today up to about 50 kilometers per hour, lower temperatures up to 22 degrees, and of course, that chance of rain, risk of thunderstorms. Question for you. Have you ever wondered what your pet is thinking about?
Oh, treats. Always treats.
Well, there's actually a tarot reader that has you covered if you've had this thought. Pet tarot is a growing niche offering at fortune-telling shops in South Korea. As pet ownership surges while birth rates in the country drop. Owners view their pets as family and want to understand what their animals may be feeling. And these cards can sometimes help depending on what you believe in.
Okay. Sounds like a scam.
Yeah.
Sounds like we're taking money. Can we start this? Can we start this racket?
Please email me and I will tell you what your pet is thinking.
I will tell you. Treats. I need to go outside and pee and treats.
Yeah. So this is a fun one today. It's actually National Strange Music Day.
Okay.
Can you believe that?
All right.
So this is kind of a fun one. We're asking you, what is the strangest song in your music library? You know that one when your music is on shuffle and it comes up and you're like, you'd be a little embarrassed to have people hear your phone on shuffle?
Not embarrassed anymore. I just own it. Right now it's a lot of Raffi and Miss Rachel-esque songs because,
for kids,
you know, circumstance. If I have to go beyond that, I'll have to think about it.
I have a few. I used to teach dance.
Right.
So sometimes my phone will be on shuffle and I never went and got rid of all the ballet music on my phone. So sometimes it'll be like, okay, and now we're doing pliés.
C'est la vie by Bewitched.
C'est la vie by Bewitched is one of our joint favorite songs.
Little sing-along. Little sing-along action.
Also some songs from VeggieTales because I grew up watching VeggieTales and I have some of those silly songs with Larry on my phone.
Yes, if you were born in southern Alberta like we were, 16 Chickens and a Tambourine by Buckshot and Benny the Bear. What do you want to weigh in with? Your strangest song in your catalog? You scan that QR code and let us know.
The Canadian dollar is down today after trade talks between Ottawa and Washington fell apart, leaving both sides facing higher prices on a wide array of imported goods. The U.S. on Saturday slapped 50% tariffs on around $20 billion worth of imports from Canada, its second biggest trading partner. The affected goods span dairy, wine, wood products, ceramics, and a slew of other areas. Prime Minister Carney said he would retaliate dollar for dollar. Canadian investors are shedding U.S. government bonds at a record pace, even as they pile into U.S. corporate debt to capitalize on the AI boom. Canadians sold $9.9 billion in U.S. government bonds through June, making them net sellers every month since January, according to Stats Canada. Unifor and General Motors have a tentative agreement for more than 4,600 auto workers. Unifor National President Lana Payne says the agreements deliver strong increases in wages and benefits for workers at GM facilities in Ontario. Union members vote on the deal this weekend. Stellantis is next for contract negotiations. Ford settled a few weeks ago. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
Summer errands could come with a hidden danger, that being hot cars. In just 10 minutes, a car's interior can heat up by 20 degrees Fahrenheit. That's especially dangerous for kids. They overheat faster than adults and often can't get themselves out. On average, 37 children under age 15 die each year in the U.S. from heat stroke after being left in a vehicle. Pediatricians at healthychildren.org share some tips to help keep kids safe. They include checking the back seat, avoiding distracted driving, being extra alert when your routine changes, keeping kids away from your car and its keys, and leaving your cell phone, purse, or backpack in the back seat as a reminder to check back there when you arrive at your destination. With this Medical Minute, I'm Lionel Moise.
Health Report, brought to you in part by SEIU West, Saskatchewan's first healthcare union.
Now for a look at our national forecast, we're seeing a temperature of 25 degrees in Vancouver today with that sunshine, 24 in Calgary, a little bit more of the cloud cover there and some rain up through Edmonton. In Winnipeg, also seeing some of that rain today, 26 degrees. As we turn our attention over to Toronto, also seeing some rain throughout the eastern provinces, 21 in Toronto today, 21 in Ottawa, 21 in Montreal, 27 in Fredericton. Not seeing that rain, but we are seeing that mix of sun and cloud. Halifax with more of that rain, 24 degrees. St. John's, mix of sun and cloud, up to 21 today. As we go to break, here's an updated look at your gas prices, and they are up. Your average price is $176.9, and you could find it for as low as $145.9. In Saskatoon, your average price $166.9, and you could find it for as low as $154.9. In the farm markets, we find the street price of canola at $747.15 per ton. The futures price $789.80 per ton. Amber Durum wheat now at $276.15 per ton, and red spring wheat $288.63 per ton. And the Canadian dollar is up today. It's at 72.67 cents US. Coming up, how you can be there to honor the Sask Sports Hall of Fame class of 2026. Stay with us.
Good morning. It is 6:28. Let's get to your headlines. Severe storm hit BC's south coast over the weekend, causing travel disruptions and sparking even more wildfires. BC Wildfire Service says there were more than 7,000 lightning strikes recorded on Saturday. 67 new wildfires were sparked across the province in a 24-hour period as a result of the major storm that moved through. This led to a complete shutdown of the Vancouver airport for more than 5 hours. This view is from the Vancouver airport, by the way. Flights were grounded and people were stuck on the tarmac until at least early Sunday morning. Warnings have been lifted and flights are back on schedule. Fast-moving wildfires destroyed homes in Reno, Nevada, as authorities urged more than 90,000 people to evacuate. Here's Sophie Flay.
This morning, a fast-moving wildfire near Reno, Nevada, forcing tens of thousands of people from their homes. Families filling up shelters.
They're concerned about when they can get back to their house, and they're coming here really with not much. They're feeling what any human would feel, and it's the anxiety, it's the worry, it's the fear, it's the stress, it's the unknown.
Strong shifting winds and dry conditions fueling the Hawk Fire, destroying homes and burning more than 15,000 acres.
To a lot of people around here, this is their entire livelihood. This is their entire life they built for years and years, and we've never seen a fire like this.
Nevada's governor declaring an emergency in Washoe County, deploying the National Guard. Firefighters battling nearly 90-degree heat as they try to get a handle on the flames. Still 0% contained overnight. The fire even jumping a major highway, making it hard for crews to reach some of the hot spots. At least 6 people have been injured, including 3 first responders. Officials say the fire was human-caused, but have not confirmed whether it was intentional or accidental. And now another challenge looming just days away. The annual Burning Man Festival is expected to bring some 80,000 people to the region. Many pass through Reno to stock up on supplies and stay in hotels. But with so many people displaced by the fire, locals are urging visitors to stay away, saying those resources are needed for evacuees.
About 10,000 power outages are blamed on the fire. Sophie Flay, ABC News, New York.
Closer to home, Saskatoon fire crews were called to a fire processing plant in Corman Park Friday. That fire was reported on South Floral Siding Road around 10 p.m. Friday. Corman Park police, who led the investigation, say the fire began in a piece of equipment and it was initially fought by staff with fire extinguishers, and the Saskatoon Fire Department arrived to ensure the fire was fully out. No one was injured. A collision involving a semi-tractor and 2 other vehicles brought emergency crews to North Saskatoon Friday night. The Saskatoon Fire Department says shortly after 6 p.m. Friday, crews were called to the area of Idlewild Drive's North and 60th Street, where they found the 3 vehicles involved in a collision. Fire crews checked multiple occupants for injuries and cleaned up debris from the roadway. The scene was later turned over to police for investigation. Regina City Council will further consider extending Brant's role operating and maintaining 4 major city facilities. City documents show the proposed changes would remove a time limit on Brant's interim management at Mosaic Stadium, the Cooperator Centre, Affinity Plex, and Confederation Park. The new arrangement could last up to 20 years with an initial 10-year term and 2 5-year renewal options. The city would still have approval over those renewals.
Nothing yet. I know that they're still working towards a closing date of September 1st. So I know there's been lots of work, lots of due diligence. I'm sure anybody who's driven past can see the work that's happening on campus with the Queen City Distiller site already. So, but the finalized kind of details agreement, my understanding is they're still targeting to get it done early September or the first part of September there. So, that's still the target as far as I know.
Council will consider the proposal August 26th. Located in the city's downtown, 24th edition of I Love Regina Day at Victoria Park on Saturday. In his second I Love Regina Day as mayor, of the city, Chad Baczynski reflected on the changes he's seen over the last calendar year.
Well, I think just because we're at I Love Regina Day, I think when we talk about some of the downtown revitalization efforts, seeing some of that start to happen. We see some momentum there. We're seeing some work happen of actual developments, downtown. We see the square space that's been activated now. So I think there's movement and momentum happening, and I think that's what I've been proud of, is that things do take time, but I think there's a yearning to see action and see people to see the results of what we've been talking about.
There were a lot of things to do: bouncy houses, petting zoo, and of course a free barbecue. It's not often a dive master is caught off guard while recording underwater.
I turned around, I kind of swung my flashlight out on the sand in the dark water, and she was coming at me with her mouth wide open, like 5 feet away. So I screamed in my regulator and kind of shifted. I couldn't believe what I was seeing at first.
So what did he see? A blunt-nosed 6-gill shark. Sorensen estimates the shark was 10 to 12 feet long. He kept his distance and was able to record what you're seeing here on his zoom lens. The Vancouver Island dive master was actually looking for a giant octopus in the waters off Parksville. The shark was only swimming at a depth of 100 feet, which is actually pretty rare. Dozens gathered at Saskatoon High School Saturday to try adaptive sports and learn about opportunities to stay active. 12 stations showcased adaptive sports, from wheelchair basketball to wheelchair obstacle courses, goalball, and adaptive soccer. The event is in partnership with the Saskatchewan Wheelchair Sports Association.
We wanted to give opportunity to show all abilities how to move and make sure that they're aware of opportunities, a way to stay physical, and just have fun with their community.
Learn more about it on the organization's website. The weather was perfect for the 9th annual Shake the Lake.
Scared of my ashes in a hotel.
Saskatchewan's own Widemouth Mason got the party started on Saturday on the lawn of the Connexus Arts Centre in Regina. The 2-day festival was headlined by Sugar Ray and, of course, Smash Mouth. A lot of attendance here, well attended, as you can see on the video here. Formal attendance numbers yet to be released, but organizers estimate around 4,500 people were there.
Plan. The big 10th anniversary is in 2027. It's going to be bigger than, better than ever.
There we go. So they're already planning for another one, Kayleen, as we get over to you in the Weather Center. What's going on today?
Honestly, we have a lot to talk about today. We're going to start with the current temperatures, and then we'll get into the wind and the precipitation that's on the way. We're still seeing the same hot spots as last hour. So our hot spot is South End, 18 degrees, 15 degrees through Prince Albert, though 17 in La Ronge, 16 in Spiritwood, and 12 in Hudson Bay. We have a similar cold spot to last hour. It was right between Val Marie and East End. This hour, the cold spot is actually East End at 11 degrees. So still everywhere in the province is in double digits, though. That's an improvement from this time last week when we were seeing a lot of those days at this time into the single digits still, but 13 degrees in Swift Current and Assiniboia, 14 in Weyburn and Estevan, 17 degrees in Yorkton and Wynyard at 16. Saskatoon, you're waking up at 14 degrees right now, and Regina at 12 degrees. Into the afternoon today, we are going to be seeing quite a bit of precipitation. So with that, the Battleford's up to 19 degrees, 22 degrees in Saskatoon. That is still where we're expecting to be seeing the most of the precipitation in the province today. 21 in Prince Albert with some of that rain, and 24 in Yorkton. Of course, you can see on the screen that that rain is also coming with the risk of some thunderstorms, so be prepared for that. Regina, you see the sun icon. However, there is a low chance that we could be getting a light amount of rain today as well. 24 degrees. You're seeing those wind icons down through the southwest corner of the province. We're going to get to those totals in just a moment. Let's talk about the temperatures, though. 23 in Swift Current today, 24 in Moose Jaw, 27 in Weyburn, and 27 in Estevan. Now let's get to those winds. So take a look at the screen. Now the highest winds are going to be down through the southwest corner of the province, right around Swift Current, where that red color is popping up into the afternoon today, indicating that we could be seeing winds gusting up to about 65 kilometers per hour for some places. Now Regina and Saskatoon, we're not quite seeing winds that strong, but still it's going to be a gusty day, likely up to about 50 kilometers per hour at some parts in the afternoon. 39 is where we're peaking around Estevan, right around 40 in Yorkton as well. I also want to talk about the smoke forecast because that is elevated today. Into the afternoon, we're seeing many places with that light blue color and even some into the north with that dark blue color at a moderate risk today. So be prepared for that, especially if you are susceptible to that smoke in the air. Regina, we are seeing not a lot of rain again until the weekend, but 24 degrees tomorrow, 25 on Wednesday, 28 on Thursday and 28 on Friday. So temperatures are okay and going up as we look towards that weekend. 24 degrees tomorrow for Saskatoon, 25 by Wednesday, 29 on Thursday, and 29 on Friday.
We're a little ways out from the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The class of 2026 headlined by Chris Getzlaff of your Saskatchewan Roughriders. Matthew Gorley is in studio with us this morning. Matthew, thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me, Daryl.
As always, we remind people out there what the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame mission is.
Our mission is to celebrate, preserve, and share Saskatchewan's great sport history. So we do that a lot of ways, but one of the ways we do it is by honoring inductees, whether it be athletes, builders, or teams. So that's a big part of it, and our induction ceremony is coming up on September 26th, where we do that again this year.
And the headliner, because well-known name, most well-known name in the group, is probably Chris Getzlaff.
I mean, that's debatable. We got a couple of Olympic medalists in there, so it's a really good class this year for our 60th anniversary. Obviously, we have Chris, but also Brianne Tyson-Eaton, who Olympic heptathlete medalist, Cameron Baird from Saskatoon, who was a medalist, silver medalist in rowing, and Otto Huber, who was a golfer. Our builders are Wilson, who's a builder in basketball, as well as Dr. Marlis Misfelt in sport medicine. So it's cool to get a sport medicine doctor in there.
And 4 years worth of teams
and
for women's football as well.
The Saskatoon Valkyrie. So first women's football team, the first 4 championship teams in the Western Women's Canadian Football League. So yeah, really great to be able to honor them and have some pioneers in there as well.
Breezed over it a little bit, but let's touch on those Olympians, because the gold medals always bring out the fans, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool that Brianne's going to be there. She doesn't get home a lot. She went to the University of Oregon and kind of made a life there, but incredible career, world championship medalist, bronze medalist at the Olympics in Rio, had to come from behind and battle on the last day to do that. A really cool athlete at Humboldt. And then Cam Berg had probably the best rowing race in the history of the Olympics. It was a photo finish, which is crazy for a boat race, but they got nipped just in the end by the UK and finished second. But a great 4-man crew, and we're happy to have Cam there too. He's got a great story.
Just how hard is it to put together a class like this? Because you get all these submissions and you got to whittle it down.
It is hard. Good point to mention that. Our nominations are out every year. October 31st is the deadline. We've always have great nominations, but we're always happy to get more. If you think you know a great athlete or builder or team, we're all ears. All of our nominations are from the public, so we really appreciate the people that put the time and the effort to add to the great classes we have every year.
This is a fun event. I get to host this one, which thank you for the invite each and every year. What can people expect when they walk through the doors? What's the night all about?
I mean, the night's really celebrating the athletes. It's a great chance for everyone to come together as a community to celebrate these athletes, and especially them to acknowledge their grassroots. We have a lot of different things going on. We have a really good 50-50 raffle this year we're excited about. You can find information on that on our website or at Rafflebox if you want to search out for it. We also have our silent auction again this year. We're still putting together some items we're hoping to get excited about, but we have some things up for auction already, and some really nice packages. A really cool Oregon Ducks package. A couple of them.
There goes my money.
I was going to say, I think we might have a couple takers for that. Since Brianne went to Oregon, the University of Oregon was really supportive, so there's some things there for certain Duck fans, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm about to be very supportive of the Saskatchewan Sports Hall of Fame.
And we appreciate it.
You can be there. SaskSportsHallOfFame.com for everything you need to know if we didn't touch on it here.
We check in with Janelle Pai, who's getting up close and personal with the herd over at Tiger Lily Alpaca Ranch. Good morning.
Good morning, Jeremy. We've got a super cute morning ahead of us. Of course, Carol Poole is here with me. We've got all things baby alpacas to talk about coming up. But first, Carol, we've got a brand new store for you to show us. Tell us a little bit about it.
You bet. So we launched this on the 17th of July. We're calling it the gift store. And it has all the things that you would want to purchase and wear with alpaca. So come on in. I want to show you it. It's really, really cute.
All right, let's take a look inside. This is adorable. All right. Wow, very warm and cozy. Carol, what do you guys have to offer here?
So I have all sorts of alpaca product. Some of it is made, or quite a bit of it is made in Canada. Some of it is made with my alpaca, which is pretty fun. And some of it comes from Peru as well. And we're really, really proud that we can offer some really nice products to people. You know, alpaca is really, really warm. So they say about 5 times warmer than sheep's wool. It's not itchy. It's free of lanolin. So it's a really nice product to wear in a province that's so cold. So when we have visitors come out, they're always so excited. I'm just going to grab a little alpaca there, which I think, so this guy came from South America, but if you give him a feel, this is what wow,
he's soft.
So this is what the baby alpaca is going to feel like when we get to feel him after. So yeah, we offer all sorts of good things. So yeah.
All right, Carol. Well, this is amazing. I cannot wait to feel that baby alpaca, and you're not going to want to miss that. We'll be up in about an hour to show you.
Hello, Laura Dykin here inside the SportsCenter newsroom with your must-see moment from Sunday. For that, let's head to Miami with the Marlins playing host to the Nationals. Bottom 3 with one on. Alberto Hernandez drills one deep to center. Looks like trouble, but not to the superhero, Jacob Young. What a grab at the wall. Let's see this again. Gets not 1 foot, but 2 up on the wall. Spider-Man impression, top notch. He covered 93 feet before scaling that wall on that catch. What a play. Very deserving of your must-see moment. Well, tonight on TSN, we have a WNBA doubleheader coming your way. First up, it's the top 2 teams in the league battling it out. The Lynx hosting the Valkyries, and that's followed by the Dream taking on the Sparks. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. That does it for us here inside the SportsCenter newsroom. Have a great rest of the day. All right, it's time for your Monday morning weather or not. This is a fun one today, so
okay,
listen
Jeremy,
up.
I'm ready.
Yeah, play along at home. That was good. How long does a typical water molecule spend in the atmosphere before condensing and falling back to the surface?
Oh.
Is it 1 day, 7 days, 3 weeks, 1 month, or 1 year? So we're talking about the water cycle here.
Okay, well, I always like to eliminate a couple, so 1 day seems too little, 1 year seems way too long. I'm gonna cut the middle and go 3 weeks.
Okay, all right. Well, the correct answer is actually B, 7 days.
Oh.
From evaporation to condensation, a typical water molecule will spend 7 days in the atmosphere.
Whoa.
Here's a Monday morning fact for you.
That's why you do the 7-day forecast.
24th, and we have these milestones to share with you. We'll start off with a belated happy birthday wish going out to Doug, who turned 70 over the weekend. We hope it was a great one for you with lots of love from your whole family. And another belated happy birthday wish going out to this coach of the Berries, Dustin. We hope your birthday was the best one yet and that you have a great year ahead.
Milestones, brought to you by Harbor Landing Village, an award-winning senior care and living community in Regina.
If you have a milestone coming up, send us an email to yourmorningsaskatchewan@ctv.ca or simply scan that QR code on your screen. Please send those in at least 1 day in advance.
Time for the official review. Chase, how was Smash Mouth?
They were certainly on stage.
Oh,
no. But 54-40 crushed it.
Okay.
I'm going to give them a huge props. But, Smash Mouth. There's something left to be desired there, but whatever. Hope you had a great weekend. We are off to a real Monday of a Mondays here. I got locked out of the station first thing this morning, so that was fantastic. Had to call our engineer Gord to come and let me in, so big shout out to him. But we're going to turn those frowns upside down. We're going to make it into a Monday to remember. Someone's getting that winning phone call this morning to see Cameron Wickholm in Nashville, and then we're going to have more gift cards to give away for Cornwall Centre to get you ready for back to school.
Poor Gord. I was at least awake. You could have come and got my key.
You're so far away. I would have missed like a good chunk of the show here. But yeah, forgetting your fob on a Monday, don't do it.
This symbol designates the secret tunnel that will lead us to the greatest treasure of all time.
The treasure hunt is back on. Director John Turteltaub says a third National Treasure movie is in the works. At a live taping of the National Treasure Hunt podcast, he said, "We finally have a script that I like." It's been almost 2 decades since National Treasure Book of Secrets, the sequel to the 2004 original.
Hey, cutie, cutie, I see you looking.
Cat's Eye has their first #1 on the Billboard 200 album chart. Wild gave the group its biggest sales week ever. Phoebe Bridgers' Lost Weekend debuted at #2. It's the Grammy-winning singer-songwriter's first top 10 album.
When evil rises, heroes rise harder on their trusty purple mutant thingies.
Golden Axe goes from arcade classic to animated series. Here's a look at the very tongue-in-cheek action-adventure based on the 80s video game. All 10 episodes of Golden Axe debut September 16th on Paramount+. Hacking and slashing in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Harder enemies.
All right, well, there are some people who always make friends when on vacation, but for others, it's just not as easy.
I spend my entire life trying to sneak up on shy animals. These penguins are definitely different.
Kelly is watching her husband try to find friends in the pool, you know, watching him slowly swim past the groups of people too shy to join in their conversation. But sadly, no new friends were made on this trip.
Oh,
and that
jump
makes
in
me
there.
Sad.
Jump in there.
I
Kelly,
love
be
making
more
friends
supportive.
on vacations. I met a couple on my honeymoon. I only met them that one time when we were snorkeling in Aruba one day. I still follow them on social media. They just had a son. Congratulations.
I'm sure they're watching.
I love vacation friends. Yeah, no, they live in the States somewhere.
Buying online can be convenient unless you don't receive your order and they want proof. Demonstrating the ridiculous proof of purchase, demand from sellers that she didn't receive the pants that she's clearly not wearing.
Oh, I've had this before too when I try to go to customer service and they say, "Can you send a screenshot of what your screen said with this error and whatever?" And I always have to go, "I didn't take a screenshot."
Oh.
What am I supposed to do?
Just, it didn't show up in my house. We have time for this? We do.
He says yeah.
All right, here's a surefire way to fall in love. This woman showing off her skydiving experience, wondering if she and her instructors were in love with each other.
Oh.
From a flirty jump to holding hands during the free fall, maybe it's meant to be.
But then I'd get jealous because he does this with everybody that he free falls with.
Oh, you just gotta take a leap. We're back right after this.
I never meant to call you.
It's Monday, August 24th.
They asked too much, and they offered too little.
No deal, new tariffs, and concern over layoffs and rising prices as the trade war between Canada and the U.S. escalates. Striking footage. BC was hit with a major storm causing nearly 70 new wildfires and travel disruptions at Vancouver's airport.
26 now and a 1st and 20.
Well, the Saskatchewan Roughriders struggled on Sunday. We've got the full highlights coming up. Stay with us. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to your morning, Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen, despite what Janelle said last hour. I'm not Jeremy.
Her ear pod died and she just went on autopilot.
Yeah, just said, good morning, Jeremy. And I said, oh my goodness, I didn't put my face cream on this morning.
You've been called worse. You could have been called Daryl. Let's get to news 7:01. The trade war between Canada and the U.S. is intensifying.
Why does it feel like today Mark Carney is going to war? Trade war. The tone.
Because we were attacked. Like, you're at war when you get attacked. We got attacked.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says he rejected what he calls an unacceptable trade deal with the U.S. Ottawa now plans to match U.S. tariffs dollar for dollar starting next month on the 8th of September, targeting sectors including steel, dairy, appliances, agricultural equipment, and electronics. Business groups largely support Carney's decision, but worry about the impact on jobs.
I would have to let staff go if it came up to that.
It's it's worrying. What we need to see from government right now is to shore up support for workers. That should mean extending employment insurance and increasing employment insurance.
Companies will soon be looking at either increasing prices or laying people off as they manage to increase costs. According to one analysis, Canada could lose nearly 90,000 jobs because of new tariffs. The provinces that could be hardest hit are Ontario, Quebec, and BC. The electronic sector is set to take the biggest hit, followed by plastics and furniture. Despite the trade war between Canada and the U.S., Alberta Premier Danielle Smith says there will not be any pause in Alberta's separation debate. In response to a question during her radio show she hosts on the weekend, Premier Smith said nothing will change, adding 700,000 citizens signed one of two petitions saying they wanted to have this question now, and that's what the vote is going to be on October the 19th. The question also comes after the Parti Québécois pledged that it will not hold a referendum on Quebec sovereignty while Donald Trump is the president. Premier Smith says that's not going to happen in Alberta, adding, quote, "We need to make sure that we are clear about what Albertans want us to do," end quote. Gas prices are expected to soar again right after Labor Day.
100, 130.
Back in April, the federal government temporarily paused the excise tax on gas. The gas tax break is set to end Labor Day weekend. September 7th is the final day to take advantage of the lower price. The Canadian Taxpayers Federation is calling on Ottawa to make that temporary cut permanent. According to Statistics Canada, gas prices have gone up nearly 26% since last summer. The Federation said restoring 10 cents a litre on gas and 4 cents on diesel would mean an average extra $6 to fill up a sedan, $7 for a minivan, and an extra $10 for a truck. Thousands gathered at Fort Carlton yesterday to commemorate 150 years since the signing of Treaty 6. Chiefs and dignitaries led the grand entry, recognizing the historic milestone. On August 23rd, 1876, Indigenous leaders in the Crown signed Treaty 6, setting out agreements and obligations for living together on the land. To honor 150, a 50-foot steel teepee, there it is on your screen, being installed at the monument site. Beardy's and Okamas's Cree Nation leading that project, with the province kicking in some bucks as well.
It's very important to have a monument. It's something that's going to be there for a long time for our future generations to see.
We should talk and we should move forward together. We won't always agree. However, if we continue to talk and we can set our differences aside, we can truly build something that's better for tomorrow, for our children, for the next generation.
Governor General Louise Arbour, who represents the Crown, also spoke about the importance of upholding the promises made. A Saskatoon festival celebrated Asian culture, food, and heritage this weekend. The three-day Rhythm and Roots Asian Festival featured live performances, food and market vendors, along with community partners. The free event ran Thursday to Saturday at Prairieland Park. Now in its second year, it's hosted by the Filipino-Canadian Association of Saskatchewan with the goal of bringing people together.
The whole ethos behind Rhythm and Roots is to bring the culture, the food, dance, everything to do with Asian culture and exhibit it here today.
Rhythm and Roots is a great event for all of us Canadians who are living here in Saskatoon.
Asian heritage, I think sometimes we're such a small community that we're overlooked in Saskatoon, but we are here. We just want to spread our culture with everyone in Saskatoon.
Organizers say they're hoping to welcome up to 10,000 visitors during the event. Event totals not yet there. An annual event saw superheroes rappelling down a building in downtown Regina for a good cause. As part of the Drop Zone Easter Seal Saskatchewan event, participants rappelled 21 stories down the Hill Tower, Center 2, to raise money for Camp Easter Seal, Adaptive Technology Services, and Summer Fun. Ahead of the event, participants were asked to raise $1,000 to support organizations to help with disabilities live their fullest life. Now it's 17th year, the event has become a symbol of courage, and community organizers say they're hoping to raise more money, with over $2 million raised so far. The weather was perfect for the 9th annual Shake the Lake.
Scared of my ashes in a hotel.
Saskatchewan's own Wide Mouth Mason got the party started on Saturday on the lawn of Regina's Connexus Arts Centre. The two-day festival was headlined by Sugar Ray and Smash Mouth, and well attended. Formal attendance numbers have yet to be released, but organizers estimate around 4,500 people were there.
That's the plan. The big 10th anniversary is in 2027. It's going to be better than ever.
The Regina Thunder continue to roll, winning their home opener easily. The Thunder had 597 total yards of offense, including 206 on the ground from Peter Borsch on just 17 carries. Remarkable numbers there. The Thunder beat the Winnipeg Rifles 60-35.
I feel good about it. It looks good, and I'm glad everybody came to cheer us on. 1 week at a time, and just win it, let's go.
The Thunder will take on Edmonton next Sunday. The Saskatoon Hilltops picked up a 36-26 win over the Calgary Colts as well. The BC Lions are suddenly red hot. They entered Sunday's matchup with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, looking for their 4th straight win. The Riders, meantime, hoping to bounce back from that upset loss at the hands of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Let's take you to the full highlights. Second quarter, tied at 6. Nathan Rourke is going to find Javon Coutoy open for the touchdown. Coutoy's first TD of the season, capping off a 4-play drive that lasted just over 2 minutes. He gives the ball to his mom in the stands. Gotta love that. It's her first time at a Lions game. 13-6 at that point. Final minute of the half is where we go next. Trevor Harris looking to respond. Deep shot for Johnny Johnson III. Go Oregon Ducks. He takes it 36 yards into field goal range, but Deontay Williams rips the ball from his hands. The Riders with their second turnover of the half, trailing by 7 at the break. Oh boy. Third quarter, Saskatchewan punting it away. Stanley Berryhill back to receive for the Lions, but he's going to drop this thing. Oh, Butterfingers picks it up is Nick Weeb. He looks like he's got a Riders touchdown. We're all celebrating, but hang on. They're going to call this no yards, being within 5 yards of the returner rather, before he touches the ball. So it's called back, no touchdown there. Ensuing drive for the Lions. Rourke with time. He's going to scramble to his right, throws it on the run. Xander Horvath hauls it in near the goal line. Horvath out of bounds on the 4-yard line, a gain of 33 yards. And then 2 plays later, this happens.
Second and goal, Rourke. Pump fake. End zone touchdown, Keon Hatcher.
Rourke with the little sidearm action to Keon Hatcher for the score. Lions up 20-6. Next Riders drive. Harris throws over the middle. Picked off by Stanley Thomas Oliver. The Rough Riders' third turnover of the night, and the Lions are going to take advantage. Ensuing drive. Rourke to Berryhill, somehow able to hang on through traffic. Oh boy. Makes contact, still keeps going, 58 yards. What an effort from Berryhill. 2 plays later, Horvath is going to punch it in for the touchdown, taking the league lead in total touchdowns with his 12th of the year. Tommy Stevens has 11. Lions extend their lead. They win this one 30-16.
Honestly, I think our defense played incredible today. I think that was their win. I mean, that's one of the greatest QBs in our league, and if not the best. And for them to play the way they did against him, hats off to them. Hats off to the coaches for their plan. Offensively, that wasn't our best. We got to keep finding ways to get better. Complement our defense. Complement our special teams. It's a good team win, and a win is a win, especially against a team like the Riders. But we got to find ways to be better.
Back in action at home, they're going to take on the Toronto Argonauts this coming weekend. And this week, Trevor Harris and I are going toe-to-toe in dad jokes. Caitlin,
Yes.
so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
We would do weather, but we're going to do more sports highlights because Director Corey doesn't think we had enough.
Yeah, no, I mean, that was just so short.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, let's get to the Weather Center now because we have a lot to talk about. We're talking about rain today throughout parts of central Saskatchewan. That is coming with the risk of some thunderstorms. Nice-ish temperatures today, just below the seasonal average in central Saskatchewan, down through the southeast corner of the province. That's where we'll be seeing more of that warmth, just above that seasonal average. Down through the southwest, though, we're talking about high winds today. 14 degrees to wake us up in Regina, mainly cloudy skies right now. Winds currently coming in at 19 kilometers per hour. Those could be increasing today up to about 50 kilometers per hour with those gusts. So similar wind conditions in Saskatoon, but we are seeing some rain to start the day, and that is likely to continue into our afternoon as well, into some parts of our evening. 15 degrees right now, though, with some very light rain to start. Radar and satellite showing where we got some of that weather, active weather rather, yesterday evening down to the southeast corner of the province, right around Estevan with some of those thunderstorms last night. Now this morning, though, we're seeing some more of that severe weather moving in from Alberta. So a lot of that green color on our screen through the north and central parts. We're also seeing more of that red and yellow color popping up into the afternoon and evening hours. It circles right around Prince Albert, Saskatoon and the Parkland region as well. And it's still right around Yorkton for tomorrow morning, right around 7 a.m. So tomorrow at this time, we'll likely still be talking about some active weather in the province. It's into the afternoon that we do see that pushing off into Manitoba. And then by tomorrow evening, things are looking really clear in the province. We're going to be seeing a lot of sunshine. Now, these numbers for the total rainfall have gone down. So this is nice to see. It was only about an hour ago that we were saying it could be up to 40 millimeters by the end of the day in Saskatoon. Now that number has shot down to about 14 millimeters expected, 12 millimeters in Prince Albert, 2 millimeters for the Battlefords, 2 millimeters as well expected in Yorkton. And in Regina earlier, we were saying about 2 millimeters. Now we're saying about 1 millimeter. So it's going to be mainly sunny in Regina today with that wind, but we could be seeing just a little bit of a sprinkle. Now 19 degrees in the Battlefords today with that rain, 21 in Prince Albert, 22 in Saskatoon and 25 in Yorkton. Again, all of those places, we're not just talking about rain, we're talking about the potential risk of some thunderstorms as well. 24 in Regina with the chance of some light sprinkles for that rain. Higher wind gusts down through the southwest corner of the province. Swift Current up to 24 degrees, Moose Jaw up to 24 and Weyburn up to 27. All those areas could be seeing gusts up to about 65 kilometers per hour though. And in Estevan, mostly sunny skies today up to 27 degrees. It's going to be a rainy day in parts of rural Saskatchewan today. 18 degrees in Lloydminster, 19 in Spiritwood, 22 in Watrous and 21 in Wynyard. All of those numbers are below that seasonal average as well. More of that wind down through the southwest corner of the province. Gusts could be up to about 65 kilometers per hour there. Maple Creek up to 25 degrees with that, 26 in Rockland, 24 in Pilot Butte and 26 degrees in Carlisle today. Let's take a look at Lipton where internet plans up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel. 23 degrees this afternoon, a chance of some showers, but you'll also be seeing a little bit of sunshine in your afternoon. West winds elevated today, coming in between 30 to 50 kilometers per hour.
Trying to figure out why we say certain things in our vocabulary. We are going to learn today, why do we say open sesame? Before we come to studio, let's go to Janelle Lippi, see what she thinks. Janelle?
Why do we say open sesame? I think it's the concept of like a sesame seed opening up and like something growing out of it. And it's like your thought that you're growing, you're creating something. That's my best guess.
I think it just comes from magic.
I was going to say too.
Just hocus pocus, whatever.
I'm thinking
open
a combo of that. Because I'm thinking, like it has to come some sort of stem from a sesame seed, right?
Okay,
and
maybe.
then magic just adopted it.
I think it's sesame. What say you, Noel?
The few expressions that comes from exactly where you thought it would. It's from the story of Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves in the story collection, The 1001 Nights. So it's the phrase that reveals the secret entrance to the thieves' lair. Simple, right? Except not quite. The two most famous stories in the 1001 Nights, that's Alibaba and the story of Aladdin, were very likely written by a Frenchman, a guy named Antoine Galland, who in 1710 prepared the first translation into a European language, in French. There are no Arabic sources for either of these stories, and Galland said that he heard them from a Syrian storyteller, but it's very likely he just made them up himself. So in French, the phrase is "Sésame, ouvre-toi," which was translated very literally when when Galland's book was translated into English in 1722 as "Open Sesame." Why sesame? We don't know. I think Galland probably just thought it sounded exotic. So Alibaba has a very long and well-loved history in English stage pantomimes. In Dickens' Christmas Carol, Scrooge refers to it as one of his favorite childhood stories. So the phrase would have been familiar to thousands of people who would have seen this on stage, and then it just entered into everyday speech.
Well knows best.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We weren't far off. That's why we say that. The New York Islanders have launched a new contest. They want jerseys, they want fan involvement, so they held this big thing. Arden Lloyd, who was producing with us, he's going to be a reporter with the newsroom. He got all of us voting because he didn't agree with the way the vote was going, and this is what they came up with.
Came right down to the final hour, and the winning jersey concept is the Lighthouse jersey.
What do you think?
I think it looks great.
That one does look pretty good. The alternative, admittedly, was not the greatest. The team not only held a contest for fans to design their new jersey, they also let fans vote for their favorite. The Lighthouse design beat out to design with Islanders spelled out on the crest in the third round of voting. There were more than 80,000 submissions for this. Do you think the Riders should do this?
I don't know.
It's fun. At least it's got some engagement. And they will start wearing it in the 27-28 season every once in a while.
Cool.
Excited by this, Kayleen?
Yes. So today is National Strange Music Day. We're talking about that one song, and when it comes up on shuffle, you're like, oh, and you need to explain why you have it.
Oh, yeah. No, I have this because I once did a routine in middle grade school.
Yeah.
I still have the same phone.
Susan saying Cannibals, which when I first read that, I was thinking, oh, the one by Kesha. No.
Oh. Okay.
No. Ron from Coronac saying strangest song in my music library is Werewolves by London.
Werewolves of London.
Of London by Do
you know that? Do you know the sample?
I
the sample is in All Summer Long by Kid Rock.
Oh, okay, yes.
That's the sample. That's the original track.
That one's not necessarily strange.
It's a good song.
Darlene saying Tennessee Birdwalk. What do we think? Do we know that one?
We do not know that one. Maybe it's Bird Sounds.
Gary's answer I liked, though. The weirdest I have to say is Frank Zappa, don't eat the yellow snow. And we got a quote from it there.
That's honestly just good advice for life.
Yeah. So what's that one song when it's coming up on shuffle in your phone, you have to be like, oh, and you have to explain why it's in your music library? What is that strange song? Text your name and your answer to 10400. Standard message rates may apply, or scan that QR code on your screen. We'll share some more answers in about an hour.
The Canadian dollar is down today after trade talks between Ottawa and Washington fell apart, leaving both sides facing higher prices on a wide array of imported goods. The U.S. on Saturday slapped 50% tariffs on around $20 billion worth of imports from Canada, its second biggest trading partner. The affected goods span dairy, wine, wood products, ceramics, and a slew of other areas. Prime Minister Carney said he would retaliate dollar for dollar. Canadian investors are shedding U.S. government bonds at a record pace, even as they pile into U.S. corporate debt to capitalize on the AI boom. Canadians sold $9.9 billion in U.S. government bonds through June, making them net sellers every month since January, according to Stats Canada. Unifor and General Motors have a tentative agreement for more than 4,600 auto workers Unifor National President Lana Payne says the agreements deliver strong increases in wages and benefits for workers at GM facilities in Ontario. Union members vote on the deal this weekend. Stellantis is next for contract negotiations. Ford settled a few weeks ago. Those are your morning business headlines. For BNN Bloomberg, I'm Roger Peterson.
All right, more fun. Let's do our morning mystery. Today it is a thing. If you've never seen this before, we have 3 clues. You guess along with us. We write it down on the whiteboard. We show the camera. Clue number 1, about 10% of people have this.
Okay.
Many Asian countries work to force this trait out of people due to associations of bad luck. This can offer an advantage in sports, meaning these people are overrepresented in baseball, tennis, fencing, and boxing. Okay. This is a guess. Don't look at my board.
I'm not looking.
I'm
not looking, but I don't. Well, Kate.
The baseball thing is what drew me to this answer. What do you got?
I don't know how to spell it. This is going to be really embarrassing for me.
Okay. What about a lefty?
Oh, I was going to say ambidextrous.
Okay, that's a good guess. That's a good guess. What is
How
it?
you spell it?
It is
left. Okay.
Left-handedness, right? Because left-handed pitchers, they're at a premium.
Okay.
That is today's morning mystery. You're halfway there.
Studio consideration provided by Father's Furniture, specializing in quality Canadian-made furniture.
All right, let's take a look at our national forecast now. A sunny day in Vancouver, up to 23 degrees. Prince George, 26. Calgary, up to 24, but some more rain expected in Edmonton today. That has carried over from yesterday, 23 degrees. More rain in Winnipeg as well, 26 today. And we're also seeing some rain over in Ontario, 21 degrees in Toronto with that. Ottawa, up to 20 degrees. Montreal, also seeing some rain, 21. Fredericton, more of that sunshine, 27 degrees today. Halifax, with a lot of cloud cover today, 24 degrees. And St. John's with some rain. Now expected in the afternoon, 23 degrees. As we go to break, here is an updated look at your gas prices. Regina, your average price today is $176.9. You could find it for as low as $145.9. Saskatoon, your average price is $166.9. You could find it for as low as $154.9. In the farm markets, the street price of canola is $747.15 per ton. The futures price, $789.80 per ton. Amber durum wheat, $276.15 per ton. Red spring wheat, $288.63 per ton. And the Canadian dollar is up today. It's at 72.67 cents US. After the break, severe storms causing more wildfire concerns in BC. Stay with us for the details.
Welcome back. It is 7:30. With the U.S. imposing 50% tariffs on some Canadian goods, Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe says the move violates the CUSMA trade deal.
I think first and foremost, we need to recognize in the broader context that we do have a trade agreement with the United States of America. It's a CUSMA agreement. There are violations that are happening of that agreement when it comes to aluminum, autos, steel products like manufactured goods, and in the forestry sector as well.
Moe's comments come as premiers in Eastern Canada are once again calling on Canadians to buy local as Canada squares off against the United States in that escalating trade war. A severe storm hit BC's south coast over the weekend, causing travel disruptions and sparking even more wildfires. The BC Wildfire Service said there are more than 7,000 lightning strikes recorded just on Saturday alone. 67 new wildfires were sparked across the province in a 24-hour period as a result of the major system that moved through. This led to a complete shutdown of the Vancouver airport for more than 5 hours. Flights were grounded and people were stuck on the tarmac until early Sunday morning. Warnings have lifted and flights are on schedule today. Meanwhile, a fast-moving wildfire is burning out of control near Reno, Nevada. A state of emergency has now been declared. More than 40,000 people have been forced to leave the area. 6 are injured. Several buildings have been destroyed. Officials have confirmed the wildfire was caused by human activity, but there's no indication yet if it was intentional. Since igniting Saturday, the fire has scorched more than 15,000 acres. Saskatoon fire crews on the scene of a processing plant fire in Corman Park on Friday. It was reported on South Floral Siding Road around 10 p.m. Friday. Corman Park police led the investigation. They say a fire began in a piece of equipment. It was initially fought by staff with fire extinguishers, and the Saskatoon Fire Department arrived to make sure it was fully out and no one was injured. A collision involving a semi-tractor and 2 other vehicles brought emergency crews to North Saskatoon Friday night. Saskatoon Fire Department says shortly after 6 p.m. Friday, crews were called to the area of Idlewild Drive North and 60th Street, where they found 3 vehicles involved in a collision. Fire crews checked multiple occupants for injuries and cleaned up debris on scene. Says the scene was later turned over to SP for further investigation. Regina City Council will consider extending Brant's role operating and maintaining 4 major city facilities. City documents show the proposed changes would remove a time limit on Brant's interim arrangement at Mosaic Stadium, the Cooperator Centre, Affinity Plex, and Confederation Park. The new arrangement could last up to 20 years with an initial 10-year term and 2 5-year renewal options. City would have say over those renewals.
Nothing yet. I know that they're still working towards a closing date of September 1st. So I know there's been lots of work, lots of due diligence. I'm sure anybody who's driven past can see the work that's happening on campus with the Queen City Distiller site already. So, but the finalized kind of details agreement, my understanding is they're still targeting to get it done early September or the first part of September there. So, that's still the target as far as I know.
Council will consider the proposal August 26th. Police in Fort Smith, Northwest Territories have arrested a suspect in a shooting that sparked a shelter-in-place order. The shooting happened Saturday and left 3 people injured. The suspect was taken into custody early Sunday morning. Charges are pending as the investigation is ongoing. Trump administration expected to announce new economic measures against Iran today. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent will be the one unveiling the sanctions. They are also expected to target any country that does support or does business with Iran. Meanwhile, the new head of Iran's top security body has warned that the support for the U.S. economic measures will be seen as, quote, an act of war. This past weekend, Iran's president said he believes the memorandum of understanding signed with the U.S. is the best way to move forward. New details about Prince Harry and Meghan's decision to move back to the UK. A source telling ABC News King Charles III learned of the news just days before it was first reported and is looking forward to it. And we're now hearing more about where they're going now and how long they plan to stay. Lama Hassan reports.
Yeah, we're learning a few more details about the big move. A source close to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex telling ABC News that they haven't decided exactly how long they will stay for, only that it would be for an extended period of time. So it sounds like they are planning to see how things go. We now know a number of things fell into place to enable the move. Among them, that the kids were accepted into the school that they wanted and the possibility that the Duchess would get back into acting. No news yet on when they will arrive. Meanwhile, the rest of the royals are all up in Scotland at the King's private estate, Balmoral. We saw the King and Queen alongside Prince William and family heading to church over the weekend. No official reaction from any of them on the big move. The silence from William particularly telling. The relationship, of course, as we know, between the brothers has been very strained. And one big question we still don't know the answer to, what do they plan to do about security? Now, remember, Harry has said he didn't think it was safe to bring his family here without police protection. And the Times newspaper reported over the weekend that his request is now under review. But this will be difficult to navigate, with many British taxpayers unhappy about potentially footing the bill. Lama Hassan, ABC News, London.
Well, closer to home, a city with royal connection, of course, the 24th edition of I Love Regina Day, Saturday at Victoria Park. It's the second one for Mayor Chad Buczynski, who reflected on the changes he's seen in the Queen City over the past calendar year.
Well, I think just because we're at I Love Regina Day, I think when we talk about some of the downtown revitalization efforts, seeing some of that start to happen. We see some momentum there. We're seeing some work happen of actual developments, downtown. We see the square space that's been activated now. So I think there's movement and momentum happening, and I think that's what I've been proud of, is that things do take time, but I think there's a yearning to see action and see people to see the results of what we've been talking about.
Among available activities were a number of children's things like the petting zoo, of course, very popular with my daughter Aria, and the bouncy houses, because why not? Bouncy houses are life, right? A former Regina Pats head coach is back in the game. Brad Haroff has joined the Dundee Stars as an assistant coach. That's in Dundee, Scotland, in the Motorpoint Elite League. Haroff led the Pats to a 16-44-0-8 record in his first-round playoff exit last season before he was moved on from. Let's get over to it's great to see good guys land on their feet. He is a truly great guy. Let's get over to the Weather Center with another one. That is Caitlin Sawatsky. What's going on today?
Well, we are starting the day in parts of Saskatchewan with some light rain that is likely to continue into parts of the afternoon and even the evening hours. Temperatures not so bad. We're seeing a lot of places really battling it out to be the hotspot in the province this hour. Right now, technically, it's Island Falls at 17.6, but it does come down to those decimal points because Buffalo Narrows, La Ronge, and South End all at 17 degrees right now. 16 degrees in Prince Albert, 16 degrees in Hudson Bay. Last hour, we were seeing the cold spot as East End. It is rather cool there compared to other places this morning, but the official cold spot in the province right now is Cypress Hills Provincial Park, sitting just below East End's temperature at 12 degrees right now. 14 in Swift Current, though, 16 in Moose Jaw. Saskatoon, you're waking up to 15 degrees with some light drizzle in the area, 14 degrees in Regina, and 16 degrees in both Weyburn and Estevan. Now, we're going to continue seeing, as we mentioned, that rain into parts of the afternoon and evening. With that is coming the risk of some thunderstorms. The Battleford's up to 19 degrees, 21 in Prince Albert, 22 in Saskatoon, and 25 in Yorkton. Down through the southwest corner of the province, you do see that wind icon there. With that, 24 degrees in Swift Current and Moose Jaw, 27 in Weyburn. But again, we could be seeing the strongest wind gusts right around Swift Current, gusting up to about 65 kilometers per hour. And it's still going to be windy in Saskatoon and Regina as well, likely up to about 50 kilometers per hour. Not so bad down through Estevan, though, with that high of 27 degrees today. Here's a better look at where we are seeing those stronger wind gusts. So all those areas lighting up in yellow, a little bit of red popping up, as we mentioned, right around Swift Current. And then, of course, those areas lighting up in blue, still going to be seeing winds up to about 40 kilometers per hour. Smoke forecast a little bit elevated compared to last week. We are seeing many of our major cities around Saskatoon and Regina, also up north in Buffalo Narrows, Prince Albert as well, sitting at a moderate risk today. So stay inside if your lungs are very susceptible to that smoke. Temperatures not looking bad this work week. It's the weekend that we see some more rain on the way, but up to 28 degrees by Thursday in Regina, and we'll be staying at that for our afternoon high for Friday and Saturday, dropping down on Sunday to about 23 degrees. In Saskatoon, clearing up with that rain tomorrow, 24 degrees, 25 on Wednesday with more of that sunshine, 29 on Thursday and Friday, 27 on Saturday, and chance of rain, risk of thunderstorms again by Sunday. Here's what's happening in our community. A charity golf tournament is on August 28th, 11 a.m. at the Deer Valley Golf Course. Visit claireparkerhomes.org. An afternoon dance is on August 28th, 1 p.m. at the Regina Senior Citizen Center. Call 306-761-0416. The Summer Gathering Market is on August 29th, 9 a.m. at the Holy Cross Parish. Call 306-537-1607. And the annual trunk sale is happening on August 29th, 10 a.m. at Little Flower Parish. Call 306-543-0915. Submit your event to our community by visiting our website, ctvregina.ca, and click Community Calendar or scan that QR code on your screen. When we last checked in with Fisher Hearing, we talked about hearing aids and the importance of matching style and technology to each person's individual needs, because it really is a custom fit and experience that is unique to each patient. Candace Fisher is back with us to expand on this today. But Candace, let's start with a reminder as to why that unique experience is so important.
It is. And, you know, hearing is so often overlooked. You know, we call it the invisible handicap. It's hard to see. And hearing is so important. It's what allows us to connect with people, build relationships, maintain relationships, which is also very important, and just keeps everything really healthy, right? It is good for us to be social.
So there's a lot of components to this to break down, but let's go back to the obvious question. How do we hear?
Yeah, great question, and an obvious question, but I brought this just to make it a little bit easier. So that beautiful earlobe of ours, that pinna, it gathers sound from the environment and helps really push it down that canal. When it hits that eardrum vibrates, and those tiny little bones, we know them as the malleus, the incus, and the stapes, they start to vibrate, and they carry that sound through into that organ of hearing we call the cochlea, or the nerve, and there's fluid in there and tiny little microscopic hairs. So when that vibration hits, it turns it into a signal that goes up to the brain, and that's how we hear and understand.
Interesting. So what causes hearing loss?
Well, there can be a couple of things. The most common for most of us is what we call sensory neural or nerve damage, and that occurs in the cochlea, or that organ of hearing. So that could be aging. I always say if we live long enough, we're probably going to have at least some degree of hearing loss. Noise exposure, of course, you know, we're an agricultural province. A lot of people work in a lot of loud noise. Most of us have gone to concerts, and, you know, over our lifetime, you were talking about Shake the Lake this morning. All those things, even when they're fun, they can cause damage to that nerve. Those waves that usually pretty gentle, all of a sudden really start moving around. And there's lots of other causes too, but those would be the most common in terms of sensory neural. Any hearing loss that occurs in that middle ear space, we call that a conductive hearing loss, and that could be a perforated eardrum, parents of young children, ear infections, of course, fluid in that ear. That just doesn't allow that sound to get through as well as it could. When it's damage or hearing loss there, that can often be treated very effectively by the doctor or the physician.
All right, there's so much to know. Unfortunately, we are almost out of time, but if people want to come to you and get their hearing checked, how can they book in with you?
Yeah, give us a call, 306-533-1232, or visit us at fisherhearing.ca.
All right, thank you so much once again. That was our audiologist and, of course, the owner of Fisher Hearing, Candace Fisher. Here's what's happening in our community. The Summer Gathering Market is on August 29th, 9 a.m. at Holy Cross Parish. Call 306-537-1607. The annual trunk sale is on August 29th, 10 a.m. at Little Flower Parish. Call 306-543-0915. The Regina Photo Club's 2026 to 2027 season starts September 1st, 7 p.m. at 3337 15th Avenue. Visit reginaphoto.club.com. And an intro to modern square dance is on September 3rd, 6:15 p.m. at Our Lady of Peace Church. Visit sksquaredance.com/square-dancing. Submit your event to our community by visiting our website, ctvregina.ca, and click Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen.
Let's go back to Janelle Lippi hanging out with some alpacas this morning.
Good morning. I would like to start this off with an apology to Kayleen, as my AirPod had died. Couldn't hear the voice talking, and it was Kayleen instead of Jeremy, so I do apologize, Kayleen. I've got Rome here, of course, back with Carol Poole. We have all things baby alpacas. This is the cutest thing I've ever done. Carol, who do we have with us right here? Of course, Rome, but we've got some more babies behind us as well.
Yes, so we have 6 new additions to the farm this year, and they were all born in June and July, of course, Rome being our last one that was born. And when people come out to the experiences, they always get to meet the baby alpacas, and they just love it so much. But you know, behind us as well is our new llama. And her name is Cinnamon, but we call her Auntie Cinnamon, as when she first came to us, the little baby alpacas loved her the most. And so they always hang out with her, so she's now been dubbed as Auntie Cinnamon.
Auntie Cinnamon, I did recognize her. I saw her picture on Facebook this morning. I was very excited to meet her in person. Now, Carol, everybody who's watching can experience this themselves, even holding the baby alpacas like I am. How can they do that?
So usually on social media, I post when we're going to do alpaca experiences, which is on Fridays and Saturdays. And so we offer the alpaca walks, and we offer alpaca hour, and that's for kind of any age. And then we have hosted 2 alpaca yogas, and I think we might do a little surprise one in September as they're such a big hit. So yeah, so just watch my social media page or go to a website and you'll see when we're hosting alpaca events.
All right. Well, these are events that you won't want to miss out on. Look at how cute this is. Plenty of furry friends to come meet. Carol, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
All right. Well, we'll be back in one more hour. We've got a little bit more to show you, maybe even some alpaca dress up.
It's really alpaca a punch. Birthdays are next.
It's August 24th, and we have these milestones to share with you. We'll start off with a belated happy birthday wish going out to Doug, who turned 70 over the weekend. We hope it was a great one for you, with lots of love from your family. And another belated happy birthday wish going out to this coach of the Berries, Dustin. We hope your birthday was the best one yet, and that you have a great year ahead.
Milestones, brought to you by Harbor Landing Village, an award-winning senior care and living community in Regina.
If you have a milestone coming up, send us an email to yourmorningsaskatchewan@ctv.ca or simply scan that QR code on your screen. Please send those in at least one day in advance.
All right, I'm afraid to ask any other questions after your scathing review of Smash Mouth.
That's fair. We'll go questionless coming into it here this morning. We're asking you, what's something that you will never do again? Something that you decided to quit, never go into again, and what was the reasoning behind that? We'll share a story Matthew McConaughey told of how listening to a Janet Jackson song 25 times consecutively was enough to stop him from something. On top of that, too, 8:40 this morning, we'll have your workday warm-up. We're doing another week of trying to guess your grad year from the 3 C's, your first concert, crush, and car. And then that could win you $100 to go spend at Cornwall Centre for back-to-school shopping.
Well, that is fun. That is fun. Maybe I'll call in and try to get, just see if you can guess mine.
All right, I have a pretty good window of winning here. Last time we did it, I had two perfectly, and the other ones I was close-ish.
Okay, I'll call you in the commercial break.
All right.
Hi, my name is Peter Parker. You don't remember me, but we used to know each other.
Spider-Man swung to the top of the box office for the 4th weekend in a row, collecting another $39 million in ticket sales this weekend. It's on track to surpass Avengers Endgame as the second highest grossing movie at the domestic box office. Marvel is owned by Disney, the parent company of ABC News. In second place, the 6th installment in the Insidious franchise called Out of the Further that made $25.3 million, below the opening for the previous Insidious movie called The Red Door.
Ithaca's king is coming back. No, he's not.
And rounding out the top 3 was Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, which added another $19.5 million 6 weeks after its debut. And happy birthday to Chad Michael Murray, known as a teen heartthrob on shows like Gilmore Girls and Dawson's Creek in the early 2000s. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
Feelings.
I want to age like Chad Michael Murray.
Me too. He looks great.
He's doing all right. He's doing all right. Here's a sure way to fall in love. She's showing off her skydiving experience, wondering if she and her instructor are meant for each other. There's some flirty jumping. They're holding hands during the free fall, sitting on the lap on the way back. I hope they are inseparable from here on out.
Okay, so here's my logic. I would never go skydiving. I think that is a near-death experience. I don't want to try it.
Plane is perfectly good.
If you go through a near-death experience like that with somebody, you're kind of bonded to them, right?
Maybe.
So... yeah, it kind of makes sense to me.
Okay.
Okay, there are people who always make friends when on vacation, but for others, it's not so easy.
I spent my entire life trying to sneak up on shy animals. These penguins are definitely different.
they teach. This is Kelly watching her husband try to find friends in the pool, watching him slowly swim past a group of people too shy to join in. Sadly, no new friends were made on this trip, and that makes me sad.
That does. Get in there.
Yeah, get in there. Just say hi. Everyone's having a good time on vacation.
Don't just watch, Kelly. Shout out, hey, where are y'all from?
Yeah.
And then they end up being from like Ogama. And you're like, I traveled like all these many miles to find somebody from my own province.
Yeah.
Buying online can be a convenient way to do some shopping unless you don't receive your package, and then they ask for proof, and then this happens. The seller says, show us proof. Well, here are my invisible pants that don't fit, and I'd like to send back because they did not arrive.
The miming here is great.
I bet they still said, that's not proof.
Yeah.
And we're back after this. Welcome to Monday, August 24th.
I think the last thing we need right now, as our economy is getting back on its feet, is a trade war with Canada.
Canada firing back as the trade war with the U.S. escalates.
They weren't economic, unfair, and undermined the net benefits for Canada.
The Prime Minister announcing dollar-for-dollar tariffs in retaliation, saying the U.S. asked for too much and offered too little.
Push back to the 26 now and a 1st and 20. Oh boy. Intercepted. Drive snipped out again.
Tough afternoon for Trevor Harris and your Saskatchewan Roughriders. We've got the highlights. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Good morning. Happy Monday.
I always laugh at that intro. Who's making pancakes on a Monday morning? Are you making pancakes on a Monday morning?
There's lots of retired people who watch. They have time to make pancakes.
I suppose there's that. Here, eat this quick and let's get out the door. What's going on in the forecast today? Rain?
Rain, wind. If you're waking up with us from the southeast corner of the province, you could be seeing that sunshine today, so that's good.
Every time my Aunt Deb comes to town, it rains, so she's here. Let's get over to News 801. Trade war between Canada and the U.S. is intensifying.
Feel like today, Mark Carney is going to war. Trade war. The tone.
Because we were attacked. Like you're at war when you get attacked. We got attacked.
Prime Minister Mark Carney says he rejected what he calls an unacceptable trade deal with the U.S. Ottawa now plans to match U.S. tariffs dollar for dollar starting next month, on the 8th to be exact, targeting sectors including steel, dairy, appliances, agricultural equipment, and electronics. Business groups largely support Carney's decision but worry about the impact on jobs.
Yeah, I'd have to. I would have to let staff go if it came up to that.
It's it's worrying.
What we need to see from government right now is to shore up support for workers. That should mean extending employment insurance and increasing employment insurance.
Many companies will be looking to either increase prices or lay off workers as a result. We'll have more on this in just a moment. First, the U.S. imposing those 50% tariffs on some Canadian goods. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe says the move violates the CUSMA trade deal.
I think first and foremost, we need to recognize in the broader context that we do have a trade agreement with the United States of America. It's a CUSMA agreement. There are violations that are happening of that agreement when it comes to aluminum, autos, steel products like manufactured goods, and in the forestry sector as well. The industry is very hard hit. We've lost over 10 forestry operations across Canada, one of those in Saskatchewan, and I was very hopeful that we would come to agreement the other night in providing some certainty for our forestry industry moving forward. That doesn't appear to be the case, and we'll be very much engaged with our forestry players, but also the people that work in that industry, because it is a concerning point. To engage with our manufacturing sector, likely will over the next day or two through the roundtables, the industry roundtables that we have put together here in Saskatchewan to get a better understanding of what impacts the 50% additional tariffs have on that industry and other industries, but also what path we have forward. As unfortunately, as Prime Minister Carney has indicated, we're in a trade war.
Come as premiers in Eastern Canada are once again calling on Canadians to buy local as Canada squares off against the U.S. in this trade war. And the president weighing in this morning on Truth Social, saying Canada has been ripping off the U.S. for years, adding our tariffs on farmers and farms have created a $60 billion deficit. He finished the post with, quote, "We don't need Canada, they need us, and thank you for your attention to this matter."
I would say that the tariffs that our administration here in the U.S. is what's hurt farmers. The tariffs that we have put on Canada, frankly, are what's hurting farmers. It's the steel and aluminum tariffs primarily because there's a lot of steel and aluminum that goes into farm equipment. We rely very heavily on Canadian trade, and I feel like we've had a very good relationship between our state and Canada, and would like to see that continue.
He added the new tariffs and counter tariffs add even more uncertainty and more chaos. There are really few choices, and for many small businesses and medium-sized businesses in this country, when they face tariffs like this, they will be forced to increase prices dramatically or lay off employees, and that is leading to some sobering predictions about job losses. Here's Camille Carmali.
It's a big reason why these two work like a well-oiled machine. They're not just employer and employee. This is more like a friendship.
I'm lucky to be here. I'm lucky to know Jill.
Zoe Tillops has been working at Jill Roshan's children's store for more than 6 years, but now the new U.S. tariffs could mean a big shift in business plans.
Yeah, I'd have to. I would have to let staff go if it came up to that.
And that's the difficult decision many businesses are facing, either increase prices or lay off staff. The new 50% tariffs on billions of dollars of selected goods shipped from Canada to the U.S. expected to put tens of thousands of jobs at risk.
Americans will be purchasing fewer of the tariffed items from Canadian producers, and that will mean less output in Canada and therefore less employment in those exporting firms.
In fact, one analysis highlights Canada could lose nearly 90,000 jobs because of the new tariffs. The provinces that could be hit the hardest: Ontario, Quebec, and BC.
There will be spillover effects into other provinces, including Alberta, Saskatchewan, and the Maritimes, because a reduction in total economic activity.
On Saturday, in his national address, Prime Minister Mark Carney promised aid coming to Canadian businesses hit by tariffs. But labor groups now also want government assistance for the tens of thousands of workers who could be laid off.
What we need to see from government right now is to shore up support for workers. That should mean extending employment insurance and increasing employment insurance.
For these two, plenty of uncertainty.
It's, it's worrying.
But a help is on the way before it's too late. What's your one wish from the federal government?
Some sort of aid when it comes to rent control for small business.
Pocketing enough to save this business and save this friendship. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Thousands gathered at Fort Carlton yesterday to commemorate 150 years since the signing of Treaty 6. Chiefs and dignitaries led the grand entry, recognizing the historic milestone. On August 23rd, 1876, Indigenous leaders and the Crown signed Treaty 6, setting out agreements and obligations for living together on the land. To honor the 150th anniversary, a 50-foot-tall steel teepee monument you're seeing on your screen also being installed at the site. Beardies and Okamasas Cree Nation leading the project, with the province kicking in a few bucks. The monument is intended to stand as a lasting reminder of the treaty as the Premier renewed the province's commitment.
It's very important to have a monument. It's something that's going to be there for a long time for our future generations to see.
We should talk and we should move forward together. We won't always agree. However, if we continue to talk and we can set our differences aside, we can truly build something that's better for tomorrow, for our children, for the next generation.
Governor General Louise Arbour, who represents the Crown, also reiterated the importance of upholding those promises. Ukraine is marking 35 years of independence today, with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky vowing that his country will not submit to Russia. Zelensky made the comments as he presented UK Prime Minister Andy Burnham with an award recognizing the UK's support for Ukraine. It's Burnham's first official visit to Ukraine, and he's promising to keep up pressure on Russia. He will chair a meeting of the Coalition of the Willing and is handing over blueprints, so Kyiv can build its own long-range missiles. Regina has been among the communities to hold events over the weekend to mark that occasion. The outdoor program featured traditional dance and cultural displays. However, the celebrations overshadowed by that ongoing fight.
Being able to share and promote Ukrainian culture has been so important, and celebrating events such like this, the 35th year of independence, when they are fighting for it right now, it couldn't be more important.
About 9,000 Ukrainians have arrived in Saskatchewan since the start of the war in February 2022. The Saskatchewan Rough Riders were their own worst enemy yesterday.
26 now and a first and 20. Intercepted. Drive snuffed out again.
Harris had a pair of interceptions, a fumble, and a whole lot of penalties in Sunday's game against the Riders against the BC Lions. It's the Lions' fourth straight win. Lions quarterback Nathan Rourke put on a show. They went on to win this game by a score of 30-16. And the weather was perfect for the 9th annual Regina Shake the Lake.
And my ass is in a hotel.
Saskatchewan's own Widemouth Mason got the party started on Saturday on the lawn of Regina's Connexus Arts Centre. Two-day festival headlined by Sugar Ray and Smash Mouth. Well attended. Formal attendance numbers have yet to be released, but organizers estimate the number to be around 4,500 people. And they enjoyed some decent conditions for those concerts, Kayleen.
Yeah, it was a really nice weekend, especially on Saturday. Sunday, we got a bit of that rain. That continued for some areas overnight and has continued into this morning as well. Saskatoon has seen some drizzle today. 16 degrees right now to wake you up in Regina, mainly sunny now. So a bit of that cloud has been moving out of the way. 22 kilometer per hour winds. Those are going to be increasing today, likely up to about 50 kilometers per hour. In Saskatoon with some light drizzle right now. 14 degrees, winds coming in at 19 kilometers per hour. Again, though, we could be seeing those winds going up in Saskatoon up to that 50 kilometer per hour mark. Now, here's a look at that radar and satellite. So you can see late last night, we saw some severe weather over in Alberta that pushed off into Saskatchewan. We also saw a little bit of that thunderstorm activity down through the southeast corner of the province. Not so much seeing that today. We're going to be seeing a lot of sunshine through the southeast corner today, but parts of northern and central Saskatchewan continuing on to see that rain this afternoon and into parts of the evening as well. What you're looking at on your screen right now is about 8:45 p.m. So also going to be seeing some of that down through the Parkland region. We are still seeing about a 30% chance of Regina seeing some of that very light drizzle into the evening as well today, but the afternoon is looking pretty clear. Tomorrow afternoon is when things really clear up for the province. We're going to be seeing a whole lot of sunshine. The morning, though, we're likely still going to be talking about a little bit of drizzle. Into, again, evening and overnight, very clear, though. Now, these numbers have been changing a little bit today. They've gone down for Saskatoon, but we're still expecting about 12 more millimeters of rain in Saskatoon by the end of the day. 12 millimeters for Prince Albert as well. Only about 2 millimeters for the Battlefords and Yorkton, and about 1 millimeter for Regina. The southwest corner of the province, not seeing as much of that rain, but we are seeing increased winds there, with the strongest gusts right around Swift Current, likely coming in up to about 65 kilometers per hour. Temperatures in central Saskatchewan also going to be below that average. 19 degrees for the Battlefords today, 21 in Prince Albert, 22 in Saskatoon, and 24 in Yorkton with those risk of thunderstorms. The warmer temperatures down through the southeast corner of the province, 27 in Weyburn and 27 in Estevan, 24 in Regina today. We're also talking about a moderate risk to our health when it comes to the air quality reduction today. A lot of areas sitting at a 4 to 5. So again, keep your windows and doors closed if you are susceptible to that smoke in the air.
This day in history, August 24th, 2018, the French Open banned Serena Williams from wearing a black catsuit during her matches, citing respect for the game. August 24th, 2001, after his flight lost all power due to mechanical failure, Air Transat pilot Robert Pichet glided the plane to safety. All 293 passengers and 13 crew survived. And August 24th, 1992, Hurricane Andrew made landfall in Florida as a Category 5 hurricane, causing up to $25 billion U.S. in damages. This haircut you're about to see is causing quite a commotion on social media, even louder than the Viking row. What do we think, Kayleen? It's a look.
It is a look. Is it better than the long hair, though? What do you think?
I think you look more intimidating with the long hair. Norwegian footballer Erling Haaland showing off his new look. He showed it on social media saying, short hair, don't care. Haaland saying he was planning to do it after the World Cup, but then he got really busy. The funniest video of this whole thing was his girlfriend coming home and going, oh my God.
Yeah. I think he had a much more unique look with the long hair. You could tell him anywhere. You could find him anywhere. You know, you could pull him out of a crowd. This look with the short hair, it's much more generic, I think.
Whole makeover. Let's get to our question of the day. There's Viking row music in there. That's some maybe strange one if you pull it up on your playlist. What are some of the other strange songs that people have submitted?
And for clarity here, it is National Strange Music Day. There is a few songs I didn't put up because they were a little inappropriate.
Oh boy.
But a few answers came in with Weird Al songs. We all know Weird Al has some interesting songs.
Parodies.
Sheena's saying the weirdest songs I have are Handlebars by the Flowbots and Wicked and Weird by Buck65.
Okay.
Do you know those?
I do not.
Okay. Gord saying, I don't like Mondays, Boomtown Rats. And we had Mason Williams recorded a song called The Prince's Panties. It is quite funny, but odd for sure. And then says it is a family-friendly song despite its title.
Okay.
Not quite sure, but...
I don't think I'm going to be seeking out any of these tracks at this point.
But thank you so much to everybody who had some fun with us today and told us what is the weirdest song on your playlist.
A 13-year-old boy from Regina played a significant role in an historical medical procedure at Jim Pattison Children's Hospital. Surgeons were able to remove a specific portion of the boy's brain that was causing him to have seizures. Carla Shinkaruk reports.
Noah Dobson's life changed when he was 11 years old. He started having seizures because of a brain tumor.
He was put on 2 medications at the time. They seemed to be working. Unfortunately, the seizures ended up coming back and getting worse.
After surgery in 2024, it was determined another one was needed. Last month, electrodes were put on his brain to see where the seizures were coming from.
And actually, we found that it was not just the tumor. It was also part of the brain called the insula. And so we, based on that information, we were able to plan a surgery for him.
That was the surgery to remove a section of his brain. A big concern was trying not to affect language or vision.
And we want to try to avoid those areas, obviously, to not cause any problems, but to still treat the epilepsy that he was having.
Before having this team of children's specialists at JPCH, kids would have been going elsewhere for the surgery, being separated from their support system.
They don't need to travel to other provinces or even other countries to have this done. We can be close to family.
So having this procedure available here puts Saskatchewan right up there with world-class hospitals.
It's offering in centers like Harvard University, Los Angeles, and in many other places that are trying to catch up with this technology.
Noah is seizure-free since surgery, which is very encouraging. He's grateful to Dr. Prasad and the entire medical team.
I kind of thank him a lot, and he's awesome.
Is it because he helped you?
Yeah.
Yeah, to be the first kid that he could help here in Saskatchewan.
In just over a week, he expects to be in grade 8 full-time.
And looking forward to school.
And he is literally like a local, like a little celebrity there. It's so cute.
After a summer very different from that of his classmates, he knows his return to school will come with plenty of questions. Carla Shinkaruk, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Well, a big boost for a virtual health care in the province, one of the province's pillars to improve medical access in Saskatchewan. The federal government is adding even more funding. Keenan Sorokon reports.
The federal government is adding another $5.4 million of funding for the virtual health hub at Whitecap, Dakota First Nation. When complete early next year, the virtual health hub will act as a command center, connecting dozens of remote and northern communities to needed medical services without having to spend hours or days in a plane or car to get to a clinic.
To me, this is not only an investment, it's also infrastructure that is going to be delivered for people. It is a healthier community, it is a stronger economy, and it is a stronger future.
Indigenous Services Minister Mandy Golmasti understands the difficulties all too well. She spent 3 days traveling from her remote community in northern Quebec to have an ultrasound when she was having children. Now, robotic ultrasonography allows a technician in Saskatoon to do that work to patients in Stony Rapids, nearly 800 kilometers north.
This is something that, really spoke to me in a very personal way and resonated with me. Families do have to travel. They have to be away from home.
Chief Darcy Bear says Stanley Mission spends more than $1 million every year on transportation for women to receive ultrasounds. The virtual health hub is aiming to reduce and eliminate those trips altogether.
This is going to be truly a game changer, and it's all public health care.
This game changer is getting the attention of the Pittsburgh Penguins, the National Hockey League Players Association, and the Department of National Defense, who have all had meetings with Bear.
The anxiety you get just getting into an ambulance. Can you imagine the anxiety that people in the North feel having to fly away from home to get care? So this is why the virtual health hub is so important.
The health hub is slated to open early next year, serving 30 communities with plans to connect to 90 different locations by 2029. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Whitecap, Dakota First Nation.
Another child is dealing with a medical condition, having the support of the entire Yorkton Fire Department. For the third time, the Parkland firefighters are participating in the Queen City Marathon, raising money for a 3-year-old boy with a rare genetic disorder. Virginia DeClute reports.
Yorkton firefighters risk their lives for the community every single day, and their service continues even when they are not on the clock. This year, they are preparing to run the Queen City Marathon for a little boy named Lenny.
He's a crazy little dude, as most little boys are. Doesn't skip a beat. He's my little shadow. He likes working on cars with me, washing cars, stuff like that.
The youngest of 3 siblings, Lenny lives with a rare condition.
Our son, Lennox, was born with a rare genetic condition called hypohidrotic ectodermal dysplasia. It affects skin, hair, teeth, and sweat gland development.
His daily struggles include growing hair and teeth, as well as overheating due to his inability to sweat.
We did have to do a lot of our own research, and we actually kind of teach a lot of doctors about the condition. There isn't really anyone that specializes in his condition around here.
The family traveled to Minneapolis last year for a conference to better understand the condition. They also need a lifetime supply of cooling vests and various services. So the Yorkton firefighters started fundraising earlier this summer, seeking funding from local businesses. And soon, they will run the Queen City Marathon to raise more funds and awareness.
Marathon is a challenge for us. If Lenny can go through what he's going through, how old he is as well, then we can go through a struggle ourselves of running a marathon, even though we're not all pristine runners.
Above all, Lenny's family is looking to educate the public about AGD.
He's still a normal little boy, just a few extra little challenges.
The firefighters will be running in Regina on the second weekend of September. Donations can be dropped off at the Yorkton Fire Hall. Virginia DeClute, CTV News, Yorkton.
Health Report, brought to you in part by SEIU West, Saskatchewan's first healthcare union.
Just about 8:30 on your Monday. Thank you for being with us. Lumsden RCMP say an 8-year-old boy drowned in the waters of Regina Beach on Friday just before 4 in the afternoon. The coroner's service has taken over the investigation, which has been deemed a sudden death with no element of criminality. No further details will be released. Now to the U.S. showdown with Canada over trade. The president imposing new tariffs on Canadian goods over the weekend after talks collapsed, while Canada's prime minister now says the country is in a, quote, trade war with the U.S. Rachel Scott with the American point of view.
The escalating trade war between the U.S. and Canada after negotiations to reach a deal collapsed in the final hour. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney declaring his country is at war with the U.S.
You're at war when you get attacked. We got attacked.
President Trump has now imposed a 50% tariff on $20 billion of Canadian goods, including hockey sticks, furniture, textiles, building supplies, and alcohol. Trump writing on social media, Canada wants the benefits of being a state without being one. Canada firing right back, vowing to match the tariffs dollar for dollar, accusing the Trump administration of throwing curveballs at the 11th hour of negotiations. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says President Trump cannot be trusted.
President Trump is the type of person that would steal your lunch money the first day. He'd steal the toque off your head the second day, and the third day he'd steal your running shoes.
Starting September 8th, Canada will impose a 50% tariff on U.S. goods, everything from steel and dairy and clothes to plywood, alcohol, and electronics. President Trump's former Vice President Mike Pence warning American families and businesses will bear the brunt.
American businesses and American consumers pay American tariffs. And I think the last thing we need right now, as our economy is getting back on its feet, is a trade war with Canada.
Some small business owners on edge. Michael Howard owns a custom furniture shop in Warren, Michigan.
We're a small family-owned business. We just can't absorb that impact of cost, so we have to pass it down to our customers and essentially give them the decision, like, are you okay with moving forward on this project with this dramatically increased cost of lumber?
The trade war only adding to the economic uncertainty. Oil prices are on the rise amid the ongoing war with Iran, and America's debt hit an unprecedented $40 trillion. The midterm election less than 75 days away, the president now trying to lower costs, suddenly announcing he was suspending tariffs on imported ground beef. But a growing number of Republicans, including Ashley Henson of Iowa, who's running in one of the most competitive Senate races, says that's the wrong move.
We need to focus on affordability, but I think this isn't the way to do that.
A severe storm in BC hit the south coast over the weekend, causing travel disruptions and sparking wildfires. The BC Wildfire Service said there were more than 7,000 lightning strikes recorded on Saturday alone. 67 new wildfires sparked across the province in a 24-hour period as a result of that major storm system that moved through. This led to a complete shutdown of the Vancouver airport for more than 5 hours. Flights were grounded and people were stuck on the tarmac until early Sunday morning. Warnings have been lifted and flights are on schedule this morning. Regina City Council will consider extending Brandt's role operating and maintaining 4 major city facilities. City documents show the proposed changes would remove a time limit on Brandt's interim management of Mosaic Stadium, the Cooperator Center, Affinity Plex, and Confederation Park. The new arrangement could last up to 20 years with an initial 10-year offering and 2 5-year renewal options. The city would still have to approve those renewals.
Nothing yet. I know that they're still working towards a closing date of September 1st. So I know there's been lots of work, lots of due diligence. I'm sure anybody who's driven past can see the work that's happening on campus with the Queen City Distiller site already. So, but the finalized kind of details agreement, my understanding is they're still targeting to get it done early September or the first part of September there. So, that's still the target as far as I know.
Council will consider the proposal on August 26th. In the downtown, Saturday was the 24th annual I Love Regina Day. It's the second one for Mayor Chad Baczynski as the mayor of this fine city. He reflected on some of the changes he's seen over the last calendar year.
It's because we're at I Love Regina Day. I think when we talk about some of the downtown revitalization efforts, seeing some of that start to happen. We see some momentum there. We're seeing some work happen of actual developments, downtown. We see the square space that's been activated now. So I think there's movement and momentum happening, and I think that's what I've been proud of. Is that things do take time, but I think there's a yearning to see action and see people to see the results of what we've been talking about.
3-year-old loved the petting zoo. Both kids loved the bouncy houses. Everyone in town seemed to love the free barbecue that started at 11:30 yesterday, or on Saturday rather. How do you spell square? S-Q-U-A-R-E. Well, not if you're looking for a little outdoor fun in downtown Regina. The court said square spelled S-K-U-A-R-E opened for the first time just in time for I Love Regina Day. McFavel was at the ribbon cutting.
After nearly 2 years of development, the first phase of the square on 12th Avenue is now open to the public. Located right off Pat Fiacco Plaza, the area has been turned into an activity zone filled with games and built for accessibility.
We're doing this for the community. We want to make sure that people who were really tired of seeing a dusty lot for the last 3 or 4 years have something to enjoy and participate in and feel a part of their community.
A sod turning ceremony on the property took place in October 2024. This vendoring shows the original vision of the completed project, which was supposed to be finished in 2025. Since then, planning has gone back to square one due to a building on the property being knocked down and more space becoming available.
Once we knew that we wanted to do a little bit of a redesign, that we knew that would push the full development into 2027, and we didn't want this to be vacant for the rest of the year.
$1.5 million are being allocated to the square. A number of the original pieces, like a performance space, food vendors, and a liquor license are all still part of the plan, something Mayor Chad Pashinsky says is developing at a good speed.
Even if it's not the end forever thing, if it still adds to the vibrancy of our downtown, if it still adds to the overall sentiment of our downtown, and that's a positive step.
Public use and feedback gathered this summer will directly inform the design of Phase 2 and what the 6,000 square foot space will look like next.
The goal is, the more people we have downtown, the better, and so that'll be the priority for sure. But obviously activating a space in the near term, I'd rather see that than see something that's vacant.
Phase 1 of the square will be available to the public in time for I Love Regina Day on Saturday and will be open until October 10th. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
A former Regina Pats head coach is back in the game. Brad Haroff joined the Dundee Stars as an assistant coach recently. That's in Dundee, Scotland, in the Motorpoint Elite League. Haroff led the Pats to a 16-44-0-8 record and a first-round playoff exit before his contract was not renewed. Remember Baby Shark? This is him now.
Baby Shark. Baby Shark.
Shark, YouTube's most viewed video, now with over 17 billion streams, is now 17 and making his solo K-pop debut under the name Baby Shark Boy. His new song opens with the original song's familiar melody before switching tunes to electronic pop. There you go.
17 billion streams, Daryl, and I have to say about 16 billion of those is my 2-year-old.
You gotta lean on the past to sell some albums too. I don't begrudge that at all.
No, absolutely not. Good for him. Let's get to some current temperatures. We are again seeing quite a few places that are rallying, trying to get up to that hot spot. A lot of places are within range, within those decimal points, and that is Buffalo Narrows, South End, and Nipawin, as well as Hudson Bay, all at 18 degrees. When it comes down to those decimal points, though, the hot spot is actually Estevan at 18.6 degrees. Yorkton is also at 18 degrees. We're not actually seeing the Saskatchewan cold spot on our screen. That is actually Scott, Saskatchewan at 12.6 this hour. The Battleford's at 14 degrees, though, as well as Saskatoon, 16 degrees in Regina, 17 in Moose Jaw right now, and 14 degrees in East End. That was previously our cold spot. We are still going to be seeing some of that rain this afternoon. We've already started seeing some of that earlier this morning as well. Also seeing temperatures below that seasonal average where we're seeing that rain falling today with the risk of some thunderstorms as well. 19 degrees in the Battlefords, 21 in Prince Albert, 22 in Saskatoon, and 24 in Yorkton. Now, you're not seeing that rain icon here in Regina today. That's because we're expecting more of that sun and cloud for the early afternoon. Later on in the day, though, we do have a chance of getting some very light drizzle, only about 1 millimeter, though, so no worries there. Down through the southwest corner of the province, higher wind gusts today, likely up to about 65 kilometers per hour. 25 degrees in Moose Jaw, though, 24 in Swift Current, 27 in Weyburn, and 27 in Estevan today with more of that sunshine. So we mentioned right around Swift Current with those gusts up to about 65 kilometers per hour. That's just that spot, a very small one that's lighting up in red for parts of the early afternoon. Other than that, though, all those areas lighting up in yellow could be seeing wind gusts up to about 50 kilometers per hour and a bit lower with all those areas in blue. Now, also lighting up in blue is our smoke forecast, and that's not good, especially if you are somebody who is very sensitive to the smoke in the air. We're seeing a lot of areas around Saskatoon, Regina, Buffalo Narrows, and Prince Albert between a 4 to the 5 on the Air Quality Health Index today. That is considered a moderate risk. So keep that in mind if you're spending any time outside today. Temperatures, though, looking not so bad for our work week, and then some more rain on the way for the weekend, especially for us here in Regina. 24 tomorrow, 25 on Wednesday, 28 on Thursday and Friday. The rain coming for Saturday with the chance of some thunderstorms, 28 degrees, and the temperatures dropping on Sunday to about 23 degrees. In Saskatoon, 24 tomorrow, up to 25 on Wednesday, 29 degrees for Thursday and Friday. Those are going to be great options to get outside. Saturday, 27, 23 on Sunday with the risk of some thunderstorms moving in.
From younger people delaying relationships to married couples calling it quits, being single in Canada is becoming more common. According to Statistics Canada, in the last 4 decades, the number of Canadians living alone has more than doubled. Well, new research is highlighting how embracing single rather than looking for Mr. or Mrs. Right can actually give you more life satisfaction. Associate Psychology Professor from Simon Fraser University, Yuzika Girmay, joins us live for more on this. Yuzika, thank you so much for doing this for us. What are some of the biggest benefits that you have found from people who are choosing to embrace being single?
Yeah, and so, I think this is a really interesting topic because people can find themselves single for all sorts of reasons. Some people are single out of choice, but some people also find themselves single because of circumstances. And what we have shown in our research that one of the big benefits that people talk about is that singlehood offers them autonomy and independence. And so in this study, we were looking at this idea of singlehood self-expansion potential, whether people believe that singlehood offers them the potential to self-expand, experience personal growth, and all that good fun stuff.
So is this study showing that people should avoid getting into romantic relationships, or just more about getting the most out of being single?
Yeah, not at all. I think that a lot of people want to be in a romantic relationship. That is a super common desire that people have. Instead, this research is sort of coming at it as that mindset matters. We can't necessarily control when and who we sort of meet in a relational context. And so what the study highlights is that it's important to use the time that you're single and make the most of it. So for what we found, for example, is that people who see singlehood as a potential for self-expansion, they tended to report being more satisfied being single, less fearful or anxious about their single status. And they were also, in some of our studies, reporting increases in life satisfaction and feelings of autonomy, competence, and feeling loved and connected with other people.
So how important are relationships with just your friends and family?
Incredibly important. And it's one of the big takeaways from our study, actually, that about 80% of the self-expanding activities that single individuals reported doing were with family and friends. And so it's, I'm sure it can be very difficult for people who want to be in a, special romantic relationship with someone. But our research really highlights that it's important for single people not to discount the many other important non-romantic relationships they have in their life.
So where's the motivation for all this come from, for you wanting to do this?
Well, it's sort of, as you said, we have more and more single people than ever in our society, yet we know very little about what singlehood looks like for people, how people can thrive while being single, how they can navigate challenges when they're single. And even in terms of self-expansion and this idea of self-expansion, most of the research has looked at it through the lens of a romantic relationship. So how people can self-expand when they fall in love and kind of take on a lot of the qualities and attributes and experiences of a romantic partner. So this research was really wanting to sort of crack open a little bit further and figure out, well, what does that look like for a single person who doesn't necessarily have a romantic partner?
So for anybody watching, what's the biggest takeaway you want them to have from this study?
Biggest takeaway I would say is mindset really matters, and we can't control our outcomes as a single person, but what you can control is how you approach singlehood. So seeing small ways in your life that you can do something fun, novel, and interesting is really important. So if you like going on forest walks, maybe try a new trail. If you like eating out with your friends, maybe try a new cuisine. If you love playing pickleball, maybe try picking up a game of pickleball with some new strangers at a new gym. So it doesn't have to be grand, it doesn't have to be expensive or time-consuming, but small little ways that you can introduce novelty in your life as a single person can really help you thrive.
Great advice. Associate Psychology Professor from Simon Fraser University, Yuthika Girmay, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Choosing Texas, I can tell. One night I was born in bed and stalked you on the internet. It's feminine intuition. It's all that I've heard. My friends are in love with American girls.
All right, let's head out one more time to Janelle Lepai and all her fuzzy friends she's making. Janelle.
Good morning. We're wrapping things up. We have had so much fun here this morning. An adorable morning, too. Carol, thank you so much for having us. We've got another one of the Party Boys. This is a part of a duo. Which one in specific do we have here with us right now?
So right now we have Springer. And so I like to name some of the alpacas after the Blue Jays. So this is, of course, George Springer. And he's a huge Riders fan. He loves the Riders, dresses up for their games. He knows it's not a game day, so he's a little bit confused as to why he has his attire on. But he, the Party Boys love to cheer for the Riders, and it's so fun that they, we get them dressed up for the games. So.
Absolutely, and great sports about it, too. This is a very patient Party Boy. Now, Carol, you have been doing this for 30 years, right as of recently, actually. Tell me a little bit about what that whole experience has been like for you.
Well, so 30 years, I would have, we had our 30th year anniversary in April, and it's been quite a really fun journey. And, when I first got alpacas, I never dreamt that we would dress them up in rider gear, or would I be hosting agritourism experiences or own a store. So we've really come a long way, the industry in Canada as a whole, and went from a cottage industry to now I sell my raw fiber to a company and I get product back, and so the alpaca industry has really evolved in 30 years, and just my love for the animals has never changed. I still, I always tell everybody I have a full-time job because I have an addiction. It's just they're four-legged and fluffy. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey, and I really am loving life so far with these guys. So
Well, the evolution has been wonderful. Carol, thank you so much for your time here this morning.
You're so welcome. Thank you for coming out. We had lots of fun.
We always have a blast, and you can have a blast too. Make sure you're heading on down, checking out all of these sweet animals. Now, I think we should let this Party Boy hit the road.
Hello, Laura Dyken here inside the SportsCenter newsroom with your must-see moment from Sunday. For that, let's head to Miami with the Marlins playing host to the Nationals. Bottom three with one on. Alberto Hernandez drills one deep to center. Looks like trouble, but not to the superhero, Jacob Young. What a grab at the wall. Let's see this again. Gets not 1 foot, but two up on the wall. Spider-Man impression top notch. He covered 93 feet before scaling that wall on that catch. What a play. Very deserving of your must-see moment. Well, tonight on TSN, we have a WNBA doubleheader coming your way. First up, it's the top two teams in the league battling it out. The Lynx hosting the Valkyries, and that's followed by the Dream taking on the Sparks. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. That does it for us here inside the SportsCenter newsroom. Have a great rest of the day.
This morning, Dolly Parton sharing a new health update while remaining busier than ever before. The 80-year-old country music mogul telling People that she has battled hard times with her health, admitting she put her own wellness aside when caring for her now late husband, Carl Thomas Dean. The 10-time Grammy winner saying while she's faced health challenges before, including in the 1980s where she was, quote, down for several months with female issues, it's a little different this time. Quote, we live in a 24/7 world with social media. Everything gets magnified in ways it wasn't years ago. I used to joke that I was the queen of the tabloids, but now I guess I can say I'm the queen of social media AI. Seriously, though, even though I'm still healing, I'm still working. This update comes a week after she was unable to attend the opening of her newest thrill coaster, Night Flight Expedition, at Dollywood, pointing to bouts of dizziness and dehydration.
And so my national doctor has kind of clipped my wings, saying, you ain't traveling this week. So I guess if your doctor tells you you ain't traveling this week, you ain't traveling this week.
Dolly's last public appearance was in June.
Well, how's everybody doing today out in that hot, boiling sun?
Surprising fans at the opening of her new truck stop. But despite Dolly's road to healing,
My coat of many colors.
she's still wearing a coat of many projects, from her Songteller Hotel opening this September to a musical headed to Broadway and the Life of Many Colors Museum in Music City.
Vancouver man with a passion for photography is on a mission to capture strangers and their stories.
Here's Adam Sawatsky.
Although Justin Venema wanted to photograph people since he was a child,
I remember looking through the viewfinder and thinking, like, the world just looks really cool.
the social anxiety he developed during the pandemic made interacting with people feel impossible.
And I could feel my hands start to shake and my knees start to tremble.
It was so debilitating, Justin decided he had to face his fear and was determined to approach a random stranger and offer to take their picture.
I wish I could say it was like suddenly found the courage and went out. No, I went out and I forced myself.
8 months after coming up with the idea, Justin vowed he wouldn't return home until he talked to at least one person.
I was feeling like I was going to pass out or throw up or maybe a combination of both.
And then Justin found the courage to do this.
Excuse me. Sorry, so sorry to bother you.
The first person he approached was Jaden, who accepted his invitation.
And they were so kind. All of my fears were immediately alleviated. And I was like, that wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be for the last 8 months. So let's do it again.
So Justin committed to take a stranger's picture every day for the next 365 days straight.
That was the decision I made, and it completely changed my life.
It was far from easy, but after achieving his goal, Justin hasn't stopped. And now also photographs random pets, sharing his images on social media.
It's been such a heartwarming experience all around to go from someone who felt so anxious and alone to someone who feels connected.
But although the process began as a way to help him, Justin's kept doing it as a way to empower others.
When I'm literally looking at the most photogenic person in the world, they're like, oh, I don't look good in photos.
So Justin aims for each stranger he meets, like Seth Marks, to feel seen.
Oh, so good, so good.
For their stories to be heard.
Little rock star, that's good.
And for them to leave feeling included.
Kind of was like a highlight to my day. Like, I wasn't like expecting anything like that.
Everybody at their core wants to connect. They just don't know how. Force yourself to talk to people. And I really do feel like if you do that, it will change your life.
Adam Swatsky, CTV News, Vancouver.
You drove all the way to Medicine Hat, bought a brand new, expensive, fancy camera.
I did.
You got to do this.
Yeah, but I also have, people would think that I'm very outgoing because of the job that we're in, but I really am scared to approach people in public. So I like when people approach me.
Well, there you go. Wait till somebody comes up and say, while we're here.
Yeah, but I'm not somebody that I'll go and approach people.
Oh. She's very approachable. This little lion just can't wait to be king. Okay, Keelan said I didn't say it right. How do you say it?
Just can't wait to be king.
Okay,
you got to say it like that with the emphasis.
I put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. National Geographic's new 4-part series is out. It follows the journey of a Kenyan lion cub named Keo as he grows from youth to adulthood. Filmmaker Jon Favreau teamed up with Hans Zimmer for the score for the documentary. By the way, he also soundtracked the original Disney classic, The Lion King.
This is going to be really cool. You going to check this one out?
I have a long list of things I need to see before I get to this, but maybe eventually.
This is one that I would love to see at the IMAX.
Oh, yeah.
Like high resolution.
That's true.
Yeah.
So we got one of those.
And I've never gone to the IMAX, so this is one that I would. I've never gone to the IMAX. That's one I would go to.
Ryan's probably watching. Send her some free tickets. Get her over there.
Yeah.
Ever wonder what your pet's thinking? Well, now you don't have to guess. Pet tarot is apparently a growing niche. This is in South Korea. They're going to give you some readings for your pets. It seems like a scam.
It does seem like a scam, but hey, maybe your pets are finally feeling heard.
Maybe. And it's 2026. Somebody's going to think that's a great idea. Thanks for doing this. We'll be back here tomorrow.